Hospital port as pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV. And welcome to this, the 54th comments reply video. This is the video in which I get to reply to your comments. Hence the title. Very obvious, isn't it? Very logical. Now, the reason I do this, the reason I make these sort of videos, and you'll see there are lots of them, 54 of them so far, is that you guys leave comments on my videos, and I feel obliged to reply to them. You guys take the time to give me feedback on my channel, and I think I should reply. A lot of you put a lot of thought into your comments. There are often long conversations and debates between viewers, and indeed between me and viewers. I feel obliged, like I said, I feel obliged to enter into that kind of discussion. I don't have time to write. I don't have time to write out long treatises in text, like typing. Because you know, some of your comments are very long, and you put a lot of thought into them, and I need to give detailed comments, but I can't. I just don't have that kind of time. So this is why I do these videos. Now, you may think, well, what's the point of this? It's a 9-hour video? Because these comments reply videos do tend to be very long. They're among the longest videos I've ever done, some of them. I only want to reply to one comment. You know, I'm not going to watch a 9-hour video just to get one reply to one comment. Well, you don't have to watch a 9-hour video. Because what will happen is, if you have posted a comment, and the ones, for example, the first ones I'm going to reply to, you will see a little reply to the comment I'm replying to you saying, thanks for your comment, it will be answered approximately within the first hour of the upcoming comments reply video. And then after an hour's gone past, it'll be second hour, third hour, fourth hour, etc. So it tells you within whereabouts in my video to within the nearest hour, I'll be replying to your comment. So the longest you're going to have to watch is for about an hour. It's not so bad, is it? Now, another reason it's not so much a problem is because these videos are no longer 9 hours long. They're getting a lot shorter because I do them more often. I used to do comments reply videos every 2 months. I remember. Now I do them probably about every 3 weeks to a month. So they're a lot shorter than they used to be. And another reason I do these comments reply videos is because I enjoy it. It's fun. And what's more, from what I gather from viewer feedback, you enjoy them too. That's enough for a reason. Who needs more of a reason than that, eh? I know a lot of you watch them all the way through. You used to watch the 9-hour ones all the way through. Okay, so guys, before we begin the comments, I've just got something I want to show you. This arrived in the post this morning. This is Ben Emlyn-Jones, made it to Bases 2021 Summer Christmas Conferences and survived lockdown. HPANWO. How about that? And there you have the basesproject.org, and there on the other side here is the basesproject.org, and there's a little Bases logo there. That's fantastic, isn't it? And that was from Miles. That arrived this morning. That's brilliant. I love that. I love it. I'm not going to drink out of it. I'm not. At least I might put water in it, but I don't want to risk breaking it and making it dirty and things like that, because it's such a wonderful thing. So thanks very much for that, Miles. It's really, really cool. That'll make, I could put my pens in it or something. It'd be a great piece of decoration. So thanks very much. Okay, anyway, on with the show. So let us begin. First one. Unusually, it's not actually the last comments reply video. It's my first comment. This is the first comment that was made since the last comments reply video, and it's on the afterlife, a second reply to Stephen Molyneux. And it's from Charles from Project Camelot. Yeah, man. Ben. So explain in detail the difference between consciousness and brain activity. A couple of hours should cover the basics. Oh, goodness me. I'll tell you, if you've watched the video, if you watched the last video, if you watched all the references I provide, maybe this incredibly ancient mystery and debate, which has been going on for millennia, may finally be solved. Is consciousness a product of... Is it conscious product of the activity of the body, in other words, the brain, or does it come from somewhere else? And this goes back a long way, long before people had any idea of how the body worked in terms of its other functions. Philosophers in the ancient world were thinking, well, maybe consciousness is just a product of our body. So, if you think I can solve it in the next couple of hours, well, you've got another thing coming, mate. Maybe you, your super secret psychic, super soldier gangster powers can do it, man. Yeah, just shove your bald head of that. Just get your big bald head into that and slaughter the whole issue. Reply to comments 53, Charles from Project Comlat. First, gotcha, Crafty. Oh, right, you got the first comment in. Well done. And on the same video, Charles again. Well, Ben, if your views are down because of shadow banning, stop banning shadows and they might come back. That's a good one. I love that. That's very good, Charles. That's very good. Gary Robinson, same video. Evening, Brother Ben. Hi, Gary. How you doing, mate? Thanks for tuning in. Same video. I think your Obama video was pulled for deceptive marketing because you were playing Ray Charles. Most people thought I looked like Robert Mugabe. But someone did actually tell me which video it was on. It was the, I think it was, it's in one of the comments anyway. It's the Julian Assange one, I believe. I did actually put it in there. Someone will tell you. It'll be a comment somewhere on here. I remember it. Reply to comments 53, Charles from Project Camelot. Ben, the only thing Gary's cheap EMF device can really be used for is detecting hidden wiring in walls. That's it. Also, the term residual EMF was made up in the mid-2000s for those BS ghost hunting shows. It's meant to sound scientific for the gullible, but residual EMF doesn't exist. It's like farting in a room, then coming back 2 days or weeks later and expecting to still smell it. Well, Charles, you obviously are not familiar with my farts, because they last a lot longer than a few weeks, I'll tell you. But I don't think that's actually true. I think Steve Mumbling believes this as well. However, from what I gather from the book and from the work Gary did, and Gary didn't work alone, he had other people with him. It does actually exist. I don't have the details to hand now, but there is, for example, an electromagnetic field that can remain in the area, and other ufologists have talked about this. Oh, I don't have all the details. You know, funny enough, I wrote to that UFO podcast because they had a thing debunking the Penturk incident on a couple of weeks ago, and I thought I challenged them to get someone from the other side on to, to give their side of the story across. Here we go. Charles said here on reply to comments 50. And yes, for an EMF meter that is any use, you need at least £2,000 plus a couple of thousand more for software and calibration tools. Industrial grade EMF meters cost $20,000 to $30,000. Gary's spinning you a yarn, Ben. Okay, I could just, from what I gather, that's not the case. But in fact, funnily enough, the on that UFO podcast, the guys they brought in who were experts in this sort of thing didn't agree either. Funny enough, they were actually the ones debunking the whole UFO thing. They were the ones completely debunking it. They were the ones who were convinced that it was all nonsense. And they said, there's no UFO there. It was all exercise chameleon. But when the host said to him, is there anything you really do find interesting? And they said, I think Gary's EMF study needs further analysis. So that's a debunker. That's a UFO skeptic saying that. Also, don't forget, there was also what about Emlyn Williams's UFO? He did the original, because before Gary did his survey of the fields, Penturk, Emlyn Williams did his own EMF survey, Llantrisant, and he got the same thing. He got the same results as Gary. Are they both spinning us a yarn? Are they both using things for detecting wirings in houses? All right, the lights below says, Charles makes a valid point, Ben. You state, why would they sell an EMF meter for £50 if it didn't work at all? I guess you could buy a metal detector for £50, which would be a little more than a toy in terms of the ability to pick up results. Time Team would have spent a few bucks more, as they were doing a proper job. The analogy works. Okay, well, that's, again, that doesn't, I don't think that discounts what I said to Charles just now. But I think it's a, we'll see, I really think that there should be a proper debate, perhaps on a podcast. There are lots and lots of productions which tell the other side of the story. There are. Oh, Charles and Project Camelot, again on reply to comments 53. And still it goes on, Ben. You aren't seriously comparing common EMF signals that are everywhere to Chernobyl-grade radiation, are you? We'd all be really buggered if that were the case. No, the scale is not the same. One refers to radioactive poisoning of the environment, particles and things like that. The other, of course, are electromagnetic fields, which are not quite the same. So that was a bad analogy, a bad comparison. Okay, here we go. Same thing, 53. And anyway, what do you think was worse? Sergeant Howie being used as a human sacrifice. Ah, right, this is the Wicker Man, that classic movie. Sergeant Howie being used as a human sacrifice, or him knowing that all he had to do was get out of it. All he had to do to get out of it was sleep with Britt Eklund's character when she tried to seduce him. That fellow would have lost his virginity to Britt Eklund and kept his life because of it. Win-win situation. Must have been kicking himself. Oh, God, yeah, I mean... if someone had just told him, you know, I mean, it's... The added bonus is on top of each other, aren't they? You get to live, but you get to shag Britt Eklund, yeah. It's a great scene, actually. It's quite funny because it's the scene where she's singing to him, and it's very erotic. She's naked. What's the full? It's she makes a big deal out of this because her agent said she could only be shot from the waist up, but the director said no, he wanted to be completely naked, so they had to get in a body double. It was actually a pole dancer they brought in from London to be the body double. So all the scenes where you see her completely naked, from you see her bottom and everything, it's not her. And she says her fans sent her like stills printed out. They say, "Britt, could you sign this for me?" And she says, "I can't. That's not me." But he's like really desperately trying to. He's like praying, pray please. He's like going, "Oh God, save me from the temptation." I think I'm not a Christian, but I don't think I'd have had that kind of willpower. I really would. I've been knocking on the door in no time. And Alliance of Calgon says, always thought of that myself. That's religious fundamentalism for you. It's a very interesting concept, actually, because Howie doesn't realise it, and he only finds out at the end that everything he's going through on that island is controlled. The moment even before he sets foot on the island, he's been selected. People on the mainland who know him have nominated him as a potential sacrifice, and the whole thing related to the missing girl is just a ruse. It's a bait in the trap. He goes there, and as soon as he's on the island, he goes through essentially the ritual begins the moment he's on the island. He's offered the chance to lose his virginity, and he has to turn that down in order to be a suitable sacrifice. The moment he just decides not to shag Britt Eklund's character, his fate is sealed. So just remember that, okay, guys? If Britt Eklund ever offers to shag you, right, you say yes, okay? Do I need to remind you? David Splendid Isolation says, as Jesus said, what does it profit a man that he gains the whole world but loses his own soul? Well, that's actually true, David. As a general philosophy, I don't share your faith, as you know, but Jesus was absolutely right. You look at the people who sacrifice everything. They to get more and more possessions, to get more and more things, to get more and more money. And but very often these people suffer terribly because they often have to do terrible things to get that money. So when Satan was tempting Jesus, he said, "Look, these are all the lands of the world. I'll give them all to you if you just kneel down and worship me." Jesus says, "Get thee behind me, Satan." And Charles says underneath here, a soul is the sum total of a person, and the saying is about personal integrity. It has nothing to do with anything spiritual. I don't want to own the world anyway, but it would be nice just to see it. That's true. Well, it's both, Charles. It could be secularized. I think it is a spiritual message, but it also has a secular equivalent. A complete atheist materialist, which I don't know if that actually describes you, but an atheo-materialist could easily accept the same thing. They could say, as you said, it's to do with integrity and ethics. Would you sacrifice those for your own personal gain? There's many atheo-skeptics, skeptico-materialists who would say, no, I won't, because I value morality more than I do my own personal comfort and pleasure and possessions. Yeah. So you don't have to be religious to understand this concept at all. As happens, David is not an atheist, and neither am I. But if I were an atheist, or we were an atheist, it's quite possible we could grasp that issue completely. Reply to comments 53, Charles. Ben, put this in your blog and smoke it. It is impossible for NASA to cover up a hoax because of the computer builders. Apollo computers were made by wire filaments being hand-woven onto a circuit board, with each board requiring literally thousands of weaves. To facilitate this, NASA employed professional seamstresses, all of which were gossipy old grannies. The devastation of that single gossipy old granny with the telephone can cause is formidable. I know that, Charles. I've been on the receiving end of some of their gossip myself. NASA had a whole hangar full of these grannies working around the clock, armed and ready to hobble out of the building and blow up the switchboards if there was anything nefarious going on. Time to put it to bed. There was actually a film about this. The women who worked on the Apollo computers, because Hollywood are now. Oh, it's women. We make a film about the moon landings and women. We're going to make a film about travelling to the South Pole and women. We're going to make a film about the first time an aircraft broke the sound barrier with women. So yeah, in this new woke culture, it's only a matter of time. If I think a film was made about this, yeah. The thing about it is, though, these old ladies, and yes, they are half gossipy, I'll tell you. They wouldn't necessarily have to be briefed into the entire mission. I mean, this is the point I made about that. What's his name? I can never forget his name. He's the professor here in Oxford who deals with statistics, and he claimed that he made a mathematical formula for how secrets could be kept, but he didn't take into account tacit complicity and compartmentalisation. But anyway, if there's any old ladies who want to gossip about me saying that, you go ahead. Reply to comments 53. Woody Black. So if I want to go to Venus, I should take an umbrella. Good to know. Cheers. Well, if you want to go to the a floating habitat in the upper atmosphere, you need at least an umbrella, possibly more, to protect you from the acid rain. Yes, because there's acid there like pH1 or something, really, really strong acid. And you need to wear some protective clothing with anti-corrosion, which is anti-corrosion. There's many plastics that don't react with acid. It'd be quite easy to do. It would be quite easy. Dark Corners underneath says, I don't know about Venus, but I'm looking forward to exploring Uranus. Ooh, original Uranus joke number 1264. Sax Glend says, on reply to comments 53, wheat. The honeybee and asbestos were brought to Earth from Venus by Melchizedek. Weren't they? Well, you see, it's possible that asbestos could have been present in Greece. It comes from Greece, I think. It could have been present in several places. We believe it came from Greece originally. They were the first people to use it, the Greeks. Asbestos is a Greek word. It's possible the chemicals for asbestos exist on Venus, but honeybees and wheat, no. There's no way those creatures could live there. As for Melchizedek, what was he? Was he? You see, there's no cloud facilities there at the moment, are they? Reply to comments 53. Excuse me. Yeah, it's We're talking about Venus cloud cities. We're talking about large floating habitats in the upper atmosphere of Venus. Now, it'd be the perfect place because it'd be nice and warm. It wouldn't be too hot. It wouldn't be too cold either. They estimate that the layer of the atmosphere we're talking about, the average temperature is actually about 31 degrees centigrade. So it's like a hot tropical environment. And so you wouldn't need any heating. You'd probably need a bit of cooling, actually, indoors. It's because the Venus atmosphere, there's a lot of quite thick atmosphere above you, so you have a lot of protection from solar radiation. You wouldn't need to pressurize your habitat. Your habitat would not need to be pressurized. So it'd be very different to the habitats designed for the Moon and Mars. You know, if you get a leak in them, they go boom, and everyone's dead. This would be different. If it had a leak in it, you could say, "Oh, it's leaking. All right, I'll put some tape over it later." You just need a bit of rubber tape, cover it over. You know, no pressurization at all. The only problem, of course, would be the acid, the acid rain, and the fact you couldn't breathe the atmosphere. It's still mostly carbon dioxide. You need to have a breathing apparatus. The air's poisonous. Here it is. Rick Horden says, the location of Obama disclosure. Hi, Ben. I've done some research and found it at 3432 within the UFO disclosure 2015. Is it really possible video? Hope this helps. And I put a love heart and I said, thanks, Rick. You saved me a lot of time. I can trust you. You guys watch my stuff more than I do. So thank you very much. Yeah, I did insert that video within that particular longer video. The original was taken down. So much appreciate that, Rick. That was really, really good of you. I did, because I was really annoyed when it got kicked. I mean, it was obviously just some idiot. I reckon it's probably a person saw that and thought, "Oh, that's offensive. It's white supremacy," and said right, and got rid of it. The whole. They made an excuse and got rid of it. But it's. And I don't think I have a copy anywhere as well. I don't have a copy on you because I did. I think I didn't back it up anywhere. I backed up nearly all my videos, but there's a few I haven't, and that's one of them. But it's now the actual just video UFO disclosure 2015. Is it really possible? That whole video is backed up on BitChute and Odyssey, so you can watch it there. So even if the YouTube copy gets wiped, it's elsewhere. Israel Diego Rivera, genius to the real genius. Reply to comments 53. There is no evidence they landed on the moon. There is no science to back it up. I have to agree. It's a bit tricky, actually. I mean, I've been thinking about this. Talking about it with the other detectives. It's not a very enviable thing we're doing here because, and I feel a bit guilty in a way because. The landing on the moon, I mean, it doesn't affect me so much because it was before my time. It's more older people who remember it. But it was one of the most extraordinary... They talk about the most extraordinary event in human history. They call it things like that, the greatest achievement we've ever done. Because we've done... we often feel quite bad about ourselves. We've done a lot of bad things. We've messed a lot of things up. In the 60s in particular, we had the Cuban Missile Crisis, assassinations everywhere, riots on the street that make the BLM that make the BLM riots look like barroom brawls. There was the threat of nuclear war. Everything was going wrong. I mean, people actually thought the world wouldn't last much longer. My mum and dad told me that. And then in the middle of it all, there's this wonderful moment, which is the landing of Apollo 11. And just for a day or two, the whole world was united in a moment of happiness. And one day it was a true kumbaya moment. You know, even in North Vietnam, you know, they were cheering. And just for a moment, everyone forgot their differences, and they just thought, we've actually put people on the moon. Everyone said we, not just America. We've put people on the moon. For someone to come along and then just take a big dump on that and say, well, maybe they didn't, it puts us in the position of the ultimate iconoclast. And, yeah. It does make me feel. I feel guilty just for doing that. I mean, the fact is, if I do believe that is actually true, I have to say it. But I don't know. I understand why people feel bad about that. They feel it's unkind, but unfortunately, I think it happens to be true. Charles says underneath, well, there is a moon which actually exists. Charles, are you not a flat earther? And the people who landed on it, who also exist, what more do you want? Well, you see, this is the thing. There's a double twist to this story because, of course, I do believe people have gone to the moon. I just don't believe they went there on the Apollo rocket. I think they went there using much more sophisticated means of transport. They probably did it before 1969, actually. Maybe several decades before. Israel Diego Vera says underneath, they left their golf clubs up there. Charles said, and the golf cart, moon buggy my arse. Is that a golf cart? Is it? Well, you should know, Charles, because you took on Tiger Woods, didn't you? And you slaughtered him. You slaughtered him. You slaughtered him on the moon, and you slaughtered him on the earth. Oh yeah. Reply to comments 53. Trump, in his own words, quote, "I always told you I was a snake." Oh. Well, he's trying to trick the reptilians into making them think he's one of theirs. Darren Retro says on 53, hi Ben, hey Darren, how you doing, mate? Hope all is well. 53, Diego Rivera, I want Russell to take a lie detector test. Right, Russell, did you probe me last night? Beep, 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 beep. Oh my God. Right. Did you enjoy it? Beep, 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 beep. Oh God, did I enjoy it too? Beep, beep, beep. Oh God, I forgot that bit. Did you wipe my memory? Beep, beep, beep. Oh dear. There we go. He's guilty. Charles says underneath, I want him to take another test. I'll leave it to your imagination. Well, I'll tell you what, one thing Charles can't take is the V word. Oh, Charles. One thing Russell can't take is the V word, because if you put a needle in him, he goes pop, and he just goes, and he goes flat. I know that because his previous incarnation did, because I blew it. No, I did, didn't I? The Light Swallow 53. Edward Woodward was already a huge TV star by the time he starred in The Wicker Man. Have a look at Callan, also a big Broadway and West End star. Brilliant actor and lovely guy. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Callan is actually pretty good. That's like a detective story. It's quite atmospheric. 53, Lights Were Low. Steve M, I think that's Steve Mumbling. Steve Mumbling has another point. The claim Kaz makes of being called up with a threat of things can happen to you or such like, which she describes as being a threat to her and her family. If she talked, Kaz then tells the world. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I have no proof that happened apart from her word, but I found her to be a truthful person. I can't prove that every word she says is true, but I mean, I have found her to be a truthful person. Also, remember the weird phone call I got? I talked about on my I got a weird phone call when I was going to Denmark. It's basically told me I thought, why me? Why at that moment? And the answer is, I think, because this was the first time the Pentuck incident was talked about on the international circuit. I was the first person to break the Pentuck incident in another country other than the UK. So they do this, though. I mean, they do sometimes give you anonymous calls and tell you to shut up. This does happen. Charles says underneath here, Kaz is fast running out of places to peddle her piffle. Stop nicking Steve Mumbling's words. Due to her habit of flying into fits of rage with anyone who questions her. Remember a year ago when you-know-who from Sufon said she isn't right in the head, lol. That's... I don't... Did he say that? I mean, Gary, I know, has fallen out with people from Sufon. I don't think he has anything to do with the Sufon guys anymore. I don't know the details. Maybe we can talk about it when I go there, because, you know, I'm speaking at Sufon on the 3rd of March. I'm doing a talk for them, so maybe we could... I'm hoping Gary will go along, and because maybe Gary and Kaz could go. I don't know if they're... I know that the Sufon guys would let them in. They'd be welcome to attend, but Gary recently had another fallout with Emlyn, and he put some posts up about it. I don't... From what I've seen... Because Emlyn was in that documentary thing with Craig Charles. I think Emlyn he's changed his mind on the whole Penta thing. I don't know exactly to what extent. I haven't kept up on all the literature. I know that he and Gary have had a massive bust up. I know that sometimes sometimes you have to be at peace with people disagreeing with you, which is why I am with you guys. I mean, I tend to say, when people say this is wrong, what you're saying is wrong, I tend to either explain why I think otherwise, or sometimes people do prove me wrong, and I accept what they say is true. Or if I don't have the information to hand, I just say, look, I don't have an answer for you right now. But I have to judge things holistically compared to the other evidence. So I'll let you know when I get back from Sufon. I mean, if they may not want to talk about it, it may be off the agenda, I don't know. But I am going to talk at Sufon. The Lights Were Low says also on 53, why not use the idea you put forward to work out whether someone is a shill, to allow Kaz and Gary to put their case for Penturk, and two of us who think that their case doesn't stand up on a live stream or some such. You could act as an arbitrator and the audience would get a far more balanced picture of the affair than the countless stories that Gary and Kaz are putting forward. Well, in this case, it wouldn't be deciding whether they're a shill, it's deciding whether the Penturk incident was what they say it was. So it would be a debate. Now, if it's a debate, it's not the same thing as a tribunal. If it was a tribunal, there'd be a specific accusation against an individual. It wouldn't be about the veracity of something else, something abstract like a UFO event. So I think, in a sense, I think a debate is a great idea. That's what I'm doing now with you guys, and I'd be happy to debate with anyone else about this. I mean, Gary, I know Gary has defended his position, so has Kaz. The only reason they don't defend their position more is because they do. Gary in particular has had personal fallouts with other people. In fact, Charles says here, Kaz keeps changing her story by the month since Sufon dropped them. There's no difference to what she's saying to what is written in the book, as far as I can tell. I mean, on Tupot they were saying she changed certain things here and there. I can't remember all the details, but she said something different at one point. I don't know. Are these these changes in story to the extent where it means it's a fabrication? Because remember that this would be a massive fabrication. Not only is she lying about what she saw, she'd have to be lying about what other people reported, and indeed what they reported to me. Yet this was not detected by 3 independent polygraph tests. Charles goes on. She was on Michael's channel recently, saying she contacted a journalist through Facebook who threatened her. If you look up the name of that person, they're not a journalist. They are a charity correspondent, lol. Kaz has so many lies, she can't keep track of herself. Oh, the person you're talking about actually has done several jobs, including being a press officer for the hospital, the Royal Glamorgan Hospital. So I don't know what they see. It could be that she's not actually changing her story. What happens is that this individual has changed jobs. I know they were working on the South Wales Argus, whatever it's called, but then before that they were the press officer at the hospital. Maybe they're a charity correspondent now. I don't know, but I know the person you're talking about. It's the same person. Now, Sufon, from what I gather, according to Emlyn, Sufon dropped them because they were like, well, Emlyn's saying it's their fault because they were rude to him and to other people. Gary's then saying no, it's Sufon's fault. As I said, if it's a personal issue, I can't comment. All I want to deal with here is the facts. I want to deal with the evidence. This is like, Charles, this is what I said to you about David Paulides. You know, I'll get down and dirty into the drama with you, all right? But I want to go through I do want to go into the factual issues of the case first. Right, is Paul McCartney dead? Is the title of the video. Rhetorical question. The answer is yes. Liam Nicklin said, Sin Dr. Nick Colostrum on Richard D. Hall talking about this. Also, does anyone know why the girl is walking backwards around the 450 mark? Let's have a look.
It's dark and often leaves people feeling a bit helpless. And this is a subject about human identity and transformation.
What the hell?
McCartney. So welcome, Nicholas.
Well, it's a thrill and it's a thrill to
All
be
right,
at the album.
just to give you a bit of background, this is the Beatnik bookshop, which doesn't exist anymore. It's been closed. And Nick is doing he's doing a talk there about Paul McCartney, and there's this someone. What? Let me hang on. Don't know if you can see this. Hang on. I'll put this sound down. Look, just watch this window here. Ready? That does indeed look like someone is walking. That does indeed look like someone is walking backwards. It really does. The answer, I'm afraid I don't know. I don't know why that person appears to be walking backwards. That's strange, isn't it? Well spotted, Liam. I never noticed that, you know. I was actually operating the camera at the time, which... Why me? It just looked weird. I mean, I'll have to examine that in more detail. It could be the clothing they're wearing makes it look like they're walking backwards. It was in the distance. It was out of focus. It was in the background, out of focus. So I'm not sure. Anyway, reply to comments 53. Charles from Project Camelot. Hold on to your hats. Put tape on your windows and hold yourself up into your doomsday bunker, folks. Ben is going badass on Richard D. Hall again. Richard, you are still defied. Ben still defies you. Holy hell, this is going to have consequences. Charles, it's going to be like that scene in The Early Bird with Norman Wisdom, you know, with the two milkmen facing each other down the street, and everyone's getting their kids indoors, and they're locking the windows and they're shutting the doors. It's going to be like that, I'll tell you. Honestly, if you want to see some fun, find out where Richard D. Hall is doing his next talk, and go to the car. Don't go in and watch the talk. Go and wait in the car park. 53. Charles, Trump's approval ratings going up isn't anything significant, Ben. Let's face it. They couldn't have gone much lower. Oh, no, don't believe the push polls. Don't believe the push polls. Trump is still filling stadiums. Biden can't get as many people on his live streams as I can. I'm out Bidening people on live streams, honestly. He sits there in front of a green screen or like a piece of he has like he's got a fake bloody Oval Office. It's even been shown. And he sits there with his little black old coof mask on, going, I am the President of the United States, and I'm going to do this and that and the other. And I've seen the viewing figures on Facebook. It's like nothing. It's like triple figures, sometimes even double figures. And all the emojis are like laughter. Trump is filling stadiums still. Honestly, man. Oh, honestly. Don't believe the push polls, mate. Reply to comments 53. Charles. Ben. The Capitol riot was not a photo opportunity. Yeah, all right. A woman died, Ben. I know. Ashley Babbitt. It was real. Ashley Babbitt. 34 years old. She died, yeah. This is why the Republicans won't give Trump a big presidential push ever again. Mike Pence was essentially an MC. That was his job and nothing more. He didn't have the executive power to shut down the court. Yeah, it's unfortunately, though, despite the fact that it was a tragedy, in fact, 3 people died altogether. 2 policemen died as well. It was photo opportunity is an exaggeration, but there's absolutely no doubt the thing was staged. Those people were invited in, essentially. They were invited in. It was not an insurrection. I mean, they didn't even. You look at the aftermath. I mean, sure, there was some people. Some things were stolen, but I think the repair bill was just like a couple of broken windows. Nancy Pelosi's laptop, Avec sex tape, things like that. As for whether what Mike Pence did, Trump was convinced that Mike Pence betrayed him, and could if he'd wanted to, he had the power to shut down that count. But Pence disagrees. I mean, I don't know what the constitutional law says about that. Pence says there's nothing he could have done. As you said, he was just there to act as chairman and MC for that particular session of Congress. So who's right? Is Trump right? Could Mike Pence actually have overturned everything? Could he actually have saved the day? Or was he bound? Because Pence says one thing, Trump says another. I don't know which is real. UFO Disclosure 2022, Year of the Nudge. Ben, sing the ODO song for the Richard in Drag. Oh, what's the ODO song? Oh, how's it go? I wrote down the lyrics to all my Porter songs. What was it? Oh man, I can't remember. I'm sorry, mate. Year of the Nudge again. Jam Noise 72. Oh right, this is what do you mean Richard in drag? Is that Richard D. Hall? Does he wear drag? Maybe privately when he's at home. I don't know. I've never been. Well, I have actually been to Richard D. Hall's home twice actually, and he was wearing normal clothes. Jam Noise says, I agree with you about Richard. I'm really pissed off with him for just blanking me. We were friends, so I thought I will not support him or suggest his work going forward. Yeah, I think you like everyone else, Jackie. You are also on either his hit list or his I can't be bothered with them list because they believe all the shells. What's really sad is, he's capable of better than this. He's a victim of his own arrogance. His attitude is the thing that's holding him back. His recent productions, which are far below the standard he's capable of, have happened because he's got this problem, isn't he? Jam says here as well on UFO Disclosure 2022, Year of the Nudge. We even paid to go and see him. I did voiceovers of him, and how the actual fuck can he think I'm a shill? Fuck him. I don't know if he thinks you're a shill, Jackie, but he probably just thinks you don't pay too much attention to shills, and you're not ideologically pure enough for him. You haven't jumped on all the bandwagons against Larry Warren and Lou Elizondo and all these other people. Therefore, you're substandard. It's him against the world. Him and Andrew Johnson against the world. And yet, if you want to hear Jam Noise 72's voice, go to Richard's channel, and you can actually hear her on some of the videos and some of the adverts for the live shows and things like that. Jackie's a voice actress. She can do all kinds of accents and things like that. Oh, I do love, Jackie. I do love your the ones where you put on a strange accent, and you fooled me with one. It was the African lady talking about chemtrails. I didn't realise that was you. And there's one where you phone people up and ask them. You phone up a helpline and ask them what twerk. You pretend to be foreign. You put on a foreign accent and you ask them what twerking means. That's so funny. Right, notice of all tech exclusive. Oxford demonstration for COVID safety. Yes. You know how important I think that is, don't you? Thanks, B, says Tina. You're welcome, Tina. It's of course, if you go to the Alt Tech exclusive, you will hear all about my sensible endorsement of all the safety precautions of the lockdown. Same one. John with the wind. Spread the fear, Ben. Dr. Shillery knows his stuff. John, I suggest you go to the Alt Tech links or the Alt Tech references. I didn't provide links. You can't put links on something like this. And just have a look at the Alt Tech videos I made, which I'm advertising here. I think maybe my humour, my ironic humour, may be a little bit too subtle for you. Jorge Rodriguez says on notice Oxford demonstration for COVID safety, is the aliens Dries as COVID-19? It is no capital letter. Is the aliens double word space Dries as COVID-19? Jorge, I don't know what country you come from, mate, but you need to brush up your English. Same video, Elizabeth Clayton. He's a boil on the butt of humanity. Thanks, Ben. If you're referring to the gentleman who was narrating that particular video, well, as you know, I agree. But I thought he was the perfect person to narrate my video on COVID safety. Oh, Crafty Nihilist! Yes, we had such a great day. Yep, Crafty Nihilist is in the video. Not this one, the one on Alt Tech. And indeed, they have done their own. If you look, Crafty, Listen Mark Crafty, have done their own version of it, which I'm in, on their own channel. I put a link on her HPANWO voice, of course. BZ Garson. This is Oxford demonstration. Notice of new content on right-wing fascists are us, white supremacists, racists, Trump worshipping, 17th letter of the alphabet sheep, and this homophobic alt-tech platform. Oh, dearie me. You know, this... Do you think that's original, BZ? Do you think that's original? Just all those things. Those are all buzzwords from, like, some silly, some daft kind of, you know, oh, anti-hate.ca or hope not hate or something like that. It's all buzzwords, mate. It's all buzzwords. And you completely misunderstand. I mean, you completely misunderstand the alt-tech platforms if you think that. By the way, BZ, you said here, you say, I'll come to that in a minute, you say underneath, I say not deleted, because everyone thought these comments were deleted. I didn't delete them. And BZ says, I don't see any reason why you would delete it. It's the truth. The alt-tech platforms are sewers. Now, there's all kinds of things on alt-tech platforms. Things you might agree with, things you don't agree with. There's things on YouTube I don't agree with. There's lots of communist material on YouTube, which is not deleted. I don't care. I don't want it to be deleted. I want people to have free speech. I want people who are working, even if they don't know it, for the New World Order. I want everyone to see what they're doing. It seems to be the other side who has a vested interest in keeping people like me silent, which is why I've been shadow banned, which is why I've lost videos. You know what? The video I made, which was deleted, it was deleted for hate speech when it's the exact opposite. And my March for Life video wasn't deleted. Oh, by the way, BZ Garson, when's this meeting happening with these women who've had abortions? You said the moment I put up my March for Life video, you said, I can arrange for you a meeting with women who've had abortions. Will you stand in front of them and say what you do? And the answer is yes, I will. It hasn't happened yet. How many months has this been? I thought you could arrange it straight away. Come on, let's have you. When's it going to happen? All right, here we go. Year of the Nudge, Steve Mumbling. Steve Mumbling. Now the Lazar fraud link has been deleted 5 times. I think this deserves its own video. Right. And I said here, this is the whole thing about Steve Mumbling was complaining, so was BZ Garson, that some of their comments were being deleted. And this is getting ridiculous. I actually got into a text conversation with Steve. Because I said, it's not by me. I told you to back up your comments. I've just checked my spam folder. I've approved all comments. There's nothing there from you. Steve says, sorry, Ben, I don't believe you. And I got angry with him. I said, shut up and stop talking crap. I'm not deleting your comments. You know that really. And you're just saying otherwise to stir the shit, basically. And Steve Mumbling provides several things here. And I say, it's not deleted. And this is, I said here, is this the link you accuse me of deleting? It's basically this one here. Okay, this is. I'll just show you it. This is the link page. This is the page linked here. UFO Joe, Eric Davis. Lazar made up his entire cockamamie story. Okay, cockamamie story, and it goes through. It goes through trying to debunk Bob Lazar here. All right, I did not delete that link. You know, you really don't really believe it. I don't think you really believe this, Steve. And Charles says underneath, okay, you good, you put it back. It's time for bedtime. I didn't take it away, Charles. And Barney's Den says, I see it, yeah. Charles doing the washing up. Oh, my God. And guess who's commenting on it? It's the man himself. What a pro. 3 nations collapsed while this was playing. Yeah, you collapsed them, didn't you, with your mind powers? Oxford Demo, Tommy Time Television. Is the C word still killing people? Alcohol and Vindaloos will kill me before any C word or V word. I'm Treble Jade. It was nothing. When I drink and have a curry, my cholesterol goes up 9.1 for a week, then right down to 6.5. Finding it difficult to balance. It's either a choice between money and no freedom, 48 48 hours, weeks, order picking, 80% of jobs now, or freedom and no money, universal credit. If you've been Jade, if you've been V-worded, and you feel fine, I'm glad. I mean, I recommend not doing. You know my recommendation for that. But you're an adult. You have the right to choose medical treatment with informed consent. What I object to is the fact that this attempt at coercion, which is actually being lifted now, strangely enough. I did an entire video about that. I've just done an article on HPANWO Voice about that. Yeah, so money and no freedom. So 48-hour weeks, order picking, 80% of jobs now. So I think what you're saying is you can earn a wage and work, or do not work, but have no money. Well, that's true. Yeah, well, you get universal credit. It's going to be replaced by universal basic income at some point. But you don't have to work 48 hours a week. You can get a part-time job. It depends what you can afford. But it's if what I recommend for people, I know people who say, "Oh God, I hate my job," so get another one. I always recommend hospital portering to them. Have you ever thought about the hospital portering service? Anyway, I personally think, if you have a curry, you test your cholesterol when you've had a curry. I don't think just having a vindaloo with some alcohol is actually going to harm you particularly. I really don't. If you ate it every night like Lister and Red Dwarf, yes, you'd become overweight, you'd become obese, you'd be in a bad way. But having one every so often is not going to hurt you, even if it does make your cholesterol go up. Tommy Time Television says also on the same video, we're beating France, surely. Well, France is... Oh, don't get me started on France. France is heading for a massive, an enormous explosion of disorder, I think. I'll cover that near the time, because it's only a couple of months now till the election. That's going to be a turning point, I'll tell you. Marky Boy says on 53. Listening while I'm at work. Oh yeah, it's good you got that, Marky. It's great to have that kind of job, haven't you? Luckily I have the kind of job where I can do that too. Where you can put things in your earphones and just listen to them while you're working. On Ricky Gervais, I'm not an atheist and do not follow celebrity. But Ben, you should watch Afterlife Series 1 to 3 written by him. It will have you in tears of laughter one moment and tears of sadness the next. It is very good. He often says he prefers animals to humans, and I have some sympathy with that. I know they have all sold their souls, but Gervais is a great comedian and pens very emotive stuff. He's a brilliant comedian, yeah. And he's I love his speech at the Golden Globes. I think should go down in history. I think it should be a historical document. As for Afterlife, a lot of people say really good things about Afterlife. I've never watched it. It's one of these things everyone's seen except me, like Game of Thrones. I've never seen Game of Thrones. Weird, that, isn't it? Okay. The Secrets of Milton Keynes, Part 2. Burrogal says, fact that MSM is willing to write pieces on this issue and refer to those taking interest as conspiracy theorists makes me want to take more of an interest. Really, Burrogal, I think it's very odd because, how many people? 3 people have written to me about Milton Keynes this week, which means somewhere there's obviously something in the mainstream media about, so-called conspiracy theories to do with Milton Keynes. And it's possible my video came up at some point, and maybe that's why. I don't know. I'd be interested to see. I made that video a few years ago. Okay, Fat Man, that's with PH instead of F. Year of the Nudge. Underground bases aren't always easily detectable, but like you're saying, there are pointers. I live near an underground base and know the signs. The thing is, I see these signs and pointers in and around the base I've explored. Yeah, and Fat Man, they are detectable if you know what to look for. He carries on. The underground parts are leftover mine workings, and the MOD bought up all the land around it and built into the existing mine. They had a grant for a 200 million upgrade, and the only thing visible was the car park got larger, which meant the development of existing underground base. I believe this was the cause of the Bristol hum, which was heard over a period of about 10 years. Yeah, I mean, I don't know which one. I don't know which base you're referring to specifically, but I do know that some underground bases are built into old mines. For example, RAF Rudloe Manor was actually first built in World War II, and before World War II, it was a granite mine. It was basically, they were using it to mine a particular kind of stone for building, which can't be found on the surface. It can't be quarried on the surface. You have to dig for it. And eventually that mine shut. It was bought up by the MOD, and the War Office, as it was called back then, and they turned it into a base. All through the Cold War it continued, and now it's still there now. And the signs are things like expanding car parks are a big sign. Also, because remember, a lot of the calculations about Area 51 come from the geeks who watch the Janet planes come and go, because they worked out from the number of people who get on and off those planes that the number of people who actually work at Area 51 is far too large if what you see on the surface is all that's there. There has to be something underground. There was that brilliant documentary by that young chubby bloke. I can't remember his name. I can't remember what the documentary was. It was a fantastic documentary. He's a brilliant filmmaker. He's quite young, kind of corpulent guy. Oh, what was it called? Anyway, as for the cause of the Bristol hum, what was in the base do you think that was causing the hum? Because these hums have been found in many places. They're quite common. They're not just at Bristol. They've been all over the place. So what exactly do you think caused it? Basis Project Christmas Lectures 2021. Col, C-O-L. Hi Ben, I work in the NHS and I've had to get the V to keep my job, but honestly it was nothing. I'm sorry, Col, you feel pressured into doing that. Ironically, they've actually backed down on it now. But anyway, if it was nothing for you, that's good. Okay. And he carries on. My arm, are you a he or a she? I'll assume he. You sound like a he. My arm hurt for a while, but I'm completely fine, touch wood. Well, touch wood for you, mate. Good luck. I hope you will continue to be okay. I had it in my right arm, furthest away from my heart, however logical that is, and I insisted that they aspirated before it was injected. I've heard that phrase before. What does that mean exactly? But, yeah, what does that mean precisely? He carries on. I know 2 people who've had strokes and blood clots, so I did everything I could to reduce that risk. Right, well, oh, do you mean, is that where they knock it to get all the air bubbles out? Is that what it means? Because that's a standard procedure, because it prevents embolism by injecting, because sometimes if air gets in, that can cause embolism if it gets to the wrong part of the body. That was 4 weeks ago, and so far, I say, I'm doing okay. I'm a regular gym goer, and I have done 3 leg days, squats, leg presses since then. Leg days, ready to do tax cardiovascular system, but I had no adverse effects. Well, it's good, Col, if you can keep yourself generally fit and healthy, it's always better for whatever we're talking about in terms of illnesses and disease or medications. If you regularly attend the gym, that's good. You do a lot of cardio exercise, that's great. If you eat good food as well, that's very important. I still understand that C is a tool that's being used to usher in tighter control of the citizenry, but if, for any reason, you have to get it, make sure they aspirate before they inject. Right, yeah. If you mean by, I've heard the phrase aspirate, if you mean by, like I say, get in the air, make sure there's no air bubbles in it, yeah, definitely. But anyone who's doing an injection should do that anyway, because nurses, doctors, they're all trained to do that anyway. I've watched them doing it. I mean, as a porter, it's something I never did, but I watched people do it so many times. I kind of know their procedure. End of lockdown live stream. Gary Robinson. Evening, brother Ben, mate. Oh, sorry you didn't make the live stream, mate, but thanks for joining us here. Right, end of lockdown live stream. Jeff Moss. His actual name. This is about Boris. Johnson. His actual name is Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson. Oh, he says here Johnson Pfeffel, and it's not. It's de Pfeffel Johnson. Boris Johnson is his actor name. Oh, that's the end of it. Right, that's the end of it now. But anyway, it's let's just Google his entire name. It's I know it's not Boris Johnson. Boris. It's Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson. De Pfeffel is spelled D-E and then P-F-E-F-F-E-L. Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson. But yeah, his family all called him Alex, apparently. But Boris is the name he chose for his professional life. I've noticed that the Wikipedia PMSL have in recent months changed. Oh, they've changed it, have they? They've changed Pfeffel from being his last name and replaced it with Johnson. Laughable BS. Oh, really? So anyway, we'll go into that. There's some more comments here, so I'll go into that because that would indicate backfilling on the part of Wikipedia, which I've just looked up. We'll go into that in the second hour of this program. Okay, guys, I'm back. I'm back again. Jeff Moss says underneath that last comment, Boris this, Boris that, FFS. Well, for some reason, I mean, that's just the name people give him. It's like we tend to do that with people, famous people, politicians. For example, Hillary Clinton is usually just called Hillary, so as not to. If she was called Clinton, then people may confuse her with her husband, President Bill Clinton, and it could be that, you see, I suppose just calling him Johnson is too much of a common name. If you say Johnson, people could think you're referring to Andrew Johnson, for example. Something like that. You know what I mean? And Cat Squatch Returns 93 says underneath, don't ever call them by their first name, ever. It's a psychological trick. A clever one, but still, just call him Johnson, like a naughty schoolchild. Again, it's Johnson is one of the most common names in England. So you can't. I think the fact that his name, the fact that Boris tends to be the name people know him by, is that's for that reason. As you know, look, it's not for any. It may originally have been affectionate, and as you know, I used to feel affection for him. I used to feel respect for him. But look, you know, and I explained in the video that I do not feel that respect anymore. I've changed my mind on him. End of lockdown live stream. Warbabe 1951 says, "Hi Ben." Hey Warbabe, how you doing? And up here we have end of lockdown live stream. Ravenhill, the Templar Dagger Knight 1968. Oh, that's another new name, Ravenhill. No more having to wear the blasted masks. Yeah, they've that's the way that they've suddenly changed everything. I mean, indeed, they've taken it another step since I made this video. They're actually abolishing Plan A now. And this is a pattern I see repeated across the world. It's really quite extraordinary. And Cat Squatch says underneath, never did, not once. Good for you, Cat Squatch. I lived my life as I wanted to, and went where I wanted, when I wanted to. Excuse me. Grow a pad. Become ungovernable. Make them scared that the guillotines will be rolled out. Create havoc. Any police, fair game. They declared war on me. Well, you know, it's who knows where this is going to go. I mean, couldn't we really end this without some kind of conflict? I mean, violent conflict. Are the Illuminati, are they really going to fade away without some kind of fight? I mean, I think there will be some kind of punch up at some point. I don't think it'll work. I think we'll win in the end, but I don't think we're going to it's going to be possible with that, because they will use violence against us, and we will have to respond in the same way. We'll have to defend ourselves using lawful force. I don't think it has to be. It doesn't have to be as gory as the French Revolution, which is what you're referring to here, where I think over up to 400,000 to 500,000 people were beheaded in a massive. The reason the French chose the guillotine is because it's the quickest way to kill people. If you have to kill large numbers of people, it's the quickest way. Just line them up. Next. You have things like that. But who knows? I mean, I hope not. But we'll see. We are British, after all. We tend to do things in a more civilised manner. France, on the other hand, is a very unstable society, and I'll say more about that when I cover the French election in April. Hubbard says here, a problem can only exist when there are two opposing postulates, intentions or ideas. There are two opposing postulates, intentions and ideas. Well, that's true, isn't it? But you see, those opposing postulates are inevitable. They're inevitable. It's a dialectic. It's the inevitable. It's one of the fundamentals of the universe. And it's always going to happen in one form or another. For example, a star functions by the opposing forces of gravity and nuclear fusion. All right, Hugo, I know. Just pretend, all right? Just pretend that's what it is. But even under Hugo's model, they're opposing forces. Things like that. So these are conflict dynamics within the natural dialectics of the universe. Cat Squatch says on end of lockdown live stream, hey Ben, you say hey you guys you're putting like comments underneath, but you missed the live stream, I'm afraid. End of lockdown again. Cat Squatch, I'm doing something similar Russia wise, mate. I've been talking to their embassy. Oh, what do they say, Cat Squatch? I'd be interested to know more. Hubbard says on end of lockdown, in order to handle a problem in the physical universe, all you have to do is handle the problem in your own universe and cause it to disappear there. Well, intention of thought is very powerful. I agree. I don't think it's the whole issue. I'm not just going to sit here and meditate like some of the New Agers say we should do. Just sit and meditate and let everything go away. It's. By the way, if I'm flickering at any time, like now, I just sort of flicker. Sorry about that. It's my webcam. I'm going to get a new one. I have to get a new one. But so it's positive intention is always good, but you have to sitting around meditating won't do everything. You have to take practical action too. Same video. Tessa1111 said, a truck in Pennsylvania filled with caged macaque monkeys used for disease experiments was in an accident. There's no quotes on the word accident, but I can always see you putting them in there. Cages fell out. 3 monkeys escaped but were recaptured. A woman in another car tried to help. Touched a cage fur of monkey. Monkey spat at her. She has symptoms of some sort of virus and have rabies shots. Oh, dearie me. I do wonder, Tessa, do you think that these monkeys escaping really was an accident? I do wonder. There's an article. Just check this article out. Here it is. Check this article I wrote the other day. Here, just have a look. The next crisis. It's on HPANWO Voice. There's the URL there. You can find it. I'm not going to keep repeating stuff I put on HPANWO Voice on HPANWO TV. It's a 5-minute read. Mr. Gianluca Viale, our famous Scottish friend, Ukraine live stream. Evening all, just tuned in. So you put in comments underneath as the kinds you would put in the live stream. Oh. Hugo Roon says on Ukraine live stream, hi Ben, I missed the live stream, but appreciate this video. I was working in Ukraine when I had my accident in 1992 that left me paraplegic. Oh dear. Hugo, I remember you saying it was in your I don't think it's not a secret, is it? I think you mentioned it's not a secret. Your little news spot, I think you mentioned that, yeah. So I suppose that's bad connotations for that country for you. But yeah. But that's interesting. I mean not interesting. It's nasty. I'm sorry that happened, obviously. Ukraine again. Cat Squatch. You my lad, Ben. Och aye. You my lad. Hatchie says on end of lockdown live stream, hey Ben, where? ? Have the real men gone? There are like punctuation marks after all these. There ain't much left out there, lol. That's yeah, I mean it's sad. I just do wonder sometimes. It's frustrating that people are kind of, they're just so obedient. There's so many people are so obedient, and they're just like, it's like they don't care about anything. They don't have any courage. They don't just want to go with the flow. They just want an easy life. If that means obeying, going along with something horrible and immoral and destructive, well, just doing my job. You know, that's frustrating. Yeah. She goes on. James the whatever. James the one that took over from Elizabeth I. Oh, that's not James II, was it? Yeah, he was the one who fought Prince William, who became William I. No, so it became William William of Orange. The Battle of the Boyne in Ireland. That was a ritual. Anyway, I laugh whilst I live. Love and respect to ya. One has to laugh. Yeah, definitely. If I didn't laugh, God, I'd be jumping off a cliff. R.I.P. Kev Baker. Yeah, keep going, good man. Thanks, Hatchie. Much appreciated, mate. Mark Crane gives me some love hearts. Oh, thank you. That's on Ukraine live stream. Thanks, Mark. Ukraine live stream. Deansy sends me a URL. What's this? It's a link to something. Oh, it's a YouTube link. Let's have a look.
Russia is an important global power.
Oh, it's bloody. Oh, it's all Schwab. It's all Schwaby Klaus. Look, have a look. Here he goes.
And there's a long-standing tradition of Russia's participation in the World Economic Forum.
Oh, yeah. All right. Special address by Vladimir Putin, President of the Russian Federation, to the Davos Agenda 2021. Gold. So I'm not going to sit here for 45 minutes listening to this New World Order hack. Sorry, but I'll watch that later, Deansy. Sorry, mate. But thanks for the information. Okay, new live stream now. It's the Battle of Los Angeles 80th anniversary live stream. Gary says, looks like I missed the live stream. Sorry, Ben, mate. Watching now anyway. Cheers. And I said, no probs. Hope you enjoy it. And Gary says underneath, listening while I'm working this evening, Ben, getting a head start on the week. So your video is keeping me company. I'm glad, Gary. I tell you what, mate. I really miss Freaky Friday now that poor old Kev is no longer with us. Oh, yeah. I know, mate. Will you be doing a monthly with any of his crew to replace your monthly with Kev? Funny you should say that, Gary, but I have been on several shows. Several people have got me on. I was on... oh, they were. Let's just have a look. I was on with Jimmy Jeans. I was on his show, and he wants me back. I was on with Billy Ray Valentine on one of his shows. It was the Infinite Fringe. I think that's one he does independently, but he has a show on TFR as well. And who's the other one? I can't bloody remember. Sorry, man, I can't remember the others. But I've been on 3, I think. So if that's a regular, I'm going to be going back on those shows. They've invited me back. So it may be monthly, it may not be quite monthly, but I am going to keep in touch with the TFR family. And I'm going to be a regular guest on other people's shows. I have been on other people's shows. I've been on, many times I was on Enemy Within. I've also been on the Christopher Everard show as well. Frank O'Neill says, just keep the tinfoil hat on. The next one, you should be safe. It's under here, Frank. I keep it hidden under here so people don't know I've got it. You know, confuse the mind rays even more. Ukraine says, Tessa says, I enjoyed Alan Rickman's Rasputin movie. Oh, I've not seen that. My favourite portrayal of Rasputin is definitely Tom Baker in Nicholas and Alexandra. That's something he did before Doctor Who. He's very good in that. He's really good. Gary Robinson, Battle of Los Angeles. Hey, Ben, mate, speaking of Stan Laurel, have you heard about the theory that he was Clint Eastwood's father? A very interesting story. Cheers. And Charles says, haha, no, he's not, lol. Neil Peel, the Paranormal Peep Show. How you doing? That's another fine Western you got me into. And Charles says to Neil, if we don't get the deed back, I'll eat your hat. Let's just have a look at some photos of them. Hang on a sec. Let's put here Clint Eastwood, Stan Laurel. Here we are. Clint Eastwood, Stan Laurel's son. Let's have a look. Hang on a sec. Let me just, you can see what I'm doing now. Is Clint Eastwood Stan Laurel's son? The myth, the facts. There's no real facial resemblance between these two, I would say. The source of the myth is an Italian newspaper that Clint Eastwood, of course, did make spaghetti westerns. Yeah, that's true. Clint Eastwood was, of course, the star of Sergio Leone's series of classic westerns, which were made in Italy, hence the name spaghetti. All right, it says here how it happened. An article on Eastwood was illustrated by a portrait of a happy, smiling Eastwood. Maybe he just made his last Italian western, and the caption pointed out the likeness to Stan smiling. I heard from a source close to the Laurel family that Mr. Eastwood knew about the story and used to scratch his head when asking about it. Oh, like Stan does. You know. A British kids comic also posted a photo of Clint with his hair sticking up on end. Somebody wrote to the comic saying his spiky hair looked like Stan's. So next week they printed their photos side to side with the word joke caption saying that. Who knows, Clint could be Stan's son. I've seen this in a comic way back in the 70s. That's how a myth was born. Who was Stan Laurel's father, really? Arthur, this is his father, Arthur J. Jefferson. Arthur Stanley Jefferson was born to grandparents' house on the 16th of June 1819, Argyle Street, Ulverston, Lancashire, to Arthur J. Jefferson, an actor and theatre manager, right, and Margaret Nee Metcalf, right. So there you are, that's his actual father, Arthur Jefferson. Interesting story, though. I mean, people say these urban myths appear. Sometimes these urban myths do appear, and that's all they are. They're just little jokes or myths. Some people say the Paul is dead things about that, but it's not. No, with Paul, there is distinct evidence, really distinct evidence. All right, we are now Battle of Los Angeles, and it's a long thread. Let's see if we can unravel it. Right. In regards to the, what was it? The Doddleston messages, I remember seeing it on a TV show in the 90s. This is Gary Robinson. I'm thinking it was a great woo story. I'm not still screen sharing, am I? No. It was a great woo story. I recently came across a channel on YouTube that does videos about vintage computers and games consoles. Oh, that's that thing, yeah. I haven't looked into that yet. Damn. Neil's going to comment in a minute and say, why haven't you watched this yet, Ben? They did a show about the messages, which featured a lot of their own research, and it was very interesting. Towards the end of the video, they did a U-turn, pretty much said that they thought it was nonsense. They also uncovered some evidence that one of the people involved was often alone in the house for most of the day, every day, and so would have time to hoax the messages. As with most good woo stories, though, there are still a lot of unanswered questions. Right, yeah. This is about a computer. I think it's an old vintage computer, a BBC Model B or something. And it appears to be receiving messages from someone in the past, indicating there's like time travel or something. Neil Peel says, we discussed this case in our Paranormal Peep Show Christmas edition, of which Ben was one of our guests. Oh, I don't remember that. Did we discuss it in Neil? I don't think it was with me. I don't think I was there. I think it was another one. I first saw this case mentioned on the Out of the World show, and then more recently saw the Computer Nerd on the YouTube channel you saw, which reminded me of the whole story. Very interesting tale. If it's true, then great, but I doubt we'll get to the bottom of it. Gary says, yeah, I remember you talking about it on the Paranormal Peep Show and wondered if you'd seen the same video as me. What I find interesting is that some elements of the story are hard to explain, whilst other elements are certainly open to hoaxing. I wasn't convinced by the so-called language expert who debunked the messages, though. I wonder if anyone will really find the book that the guy supposedly hid for someone to find in the future. On the other hand, maybe someone has found it and we'll never know about it. Cheers. You see, time travel's a tricky thing, you see, because time travel it's the staple of science fiction, but it can't actually be done very easily. Backwards time travel is impossible. It's a contradiction to the laws of physics. You can simulate backwards time travel in the many worlds hypothesis, though. by visiting a universe which is identical to or very similar to Earth's own past. For you, if you did that, the experience would be exactly the same as time travel. It can be done, and if you do that, you don't have the problem of all the paradoxes that you do with the with real time travel, which is said again is an impossibility. It's a nonsensical thing. Neil says, yes, the whole thing was being of Old English speech was interesting. Because of my interest in spiritualism, I'm reading many a case from this communication idea, the so-called from the so-called future does not seem so shocking. Time all that happens all at once, some say. Also, the medium Jane Roberts used to tap into a world of various spirits like William James. Not actually the spirit of him, but more like a leftover energy that can be read. It's like listening to an old tape recording. The Deathbeat says, yeah, I remember you talking about that on the show as well. Being an avid listener and all, I agree. It's not a stretch to consider Woo communications could come through in such a way. It also makes me think of Paul Sinclair and the bizarre stuff he talks about on his Truth Proof channel. There's a lot of strange things going on that defy logic. And I've actually, I've got Paul's book and DVD. I've not had a chance to read or watch them yet. I've always been about to interview the guy, and we never arranged a time to do the interview, which is a shame because he's a good guy. I've met him. I've spoken to him many times. He's a very interesting chap. Neil says underneath, and remember, this is all what Joe Public knows behind the scenes. Department of Defense, MOD, doing some sort of psychic research under secrecy. Yeah, a good thing to watch. Jam Noise actually recommended this. Is the Omega Factor. That's very good. It's a bit like the X-Files, but it's many years earlier. Gary says, absolutely, mate. I bet a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff we'll never know. Yeah. Interesting thread, that. Battle of Los Angeles, AT, Steve mumbling. There's no such thing as the Battle of Los Angeles. Chief, I know that it's a misnomer. All right, I know there was no real battle, but anyway. A bunch of jittery half-wits firing everything they had at a cloud doesn't count as a battle. It didn't occur to any of them that the cloud wasn't shooting back. Clouds don't attack cities in the real world. Steve, it wasn't shooting back, that's correct, but it wasn't a cloud. It wasn't a cloud. It was picked up on radar, it was picked up by numerous searchlights. It was also witnessed by several people, including an individual who went on to design the spaceships in War of the Worlds, the 1953 adaptation. It was also seen by someone who knows Gareth Davis. Charles says underneath, yeppers. Research was stretched to the limit, and the guys operating the radar systems didn't know what they were looking at because they weren't trained for it. They panicked, which caused a domino effect. Nothing more than that. No, it's not true, Charles. It's true that there were a lot of new people brought in to man these radar stations and guns. People without proper training. They were literally trying to create an entire coastal defense force overnight after Pearl Harbor. So they were basically rushing people through basic training and just putting them in front of these weapons and sensors. However, there was a limit. There's a limit to how the kind of mistakes they could have made. It's true they were on high. Everyone was terrified. I mean, I talk about the way that everyone thought there'd be an attack any day now. It doesn't fit with all the evidence, though. It doesn't fit with what people saw. It doesn't fit with the photograph. The negative went missing for some reason. That should tell you a lot, shouldn't it? Benji84 says on the same video, Ben, have you seen the Spielberg movie 1941? It's set in the aftermath of the Pearl Harbor attack when LA was planning for a Japanese attack. It has a fantastic cast. John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, Christopher Lee, Ned Beatty, John Candy. Dan Aykroyd is really into UFOs. He is actually the narrator and host of this thing by Randall Nicholson, if it ever comes out, about the Ruhr incident. But the acting by everyone was way over the top. I presume this is what Spielberg wanted to give an idea of the hysteria at the time. There is one brief scene that shows searchlights in the night sky that look very similar to the Battle of LA picture. Surely it wasn't just a coincidence, as he just made Close Encounters. Not a great movie, but well worth a watch. Oh, right. Is it 1941? 1941 film. Oh, yes. It's an American. It's a 1979 American period war comedy drama directed by Steven Spielberg. All right. Not seen this. Apparently it's got a cult status. Okay, well, maybe I'll check it out. But if it's got a scene in it, it sort of may make reference to the battle. Because that would be quite something. That would make me wonder. Seeing as it's true, it came out, was it 3 years after Close Encounters? You've got to ask yourself, what's going on? Yeah. Liam Nicklin said on Ukraine, there are no aliens, it's all angels and demons. No, there are aliens, but there are angels and demons too. There are both. Okay. And here's my community guidelines thing here. I will be. This is I posted this, which is what was it? All right, my post. Hang on, where's my post? Here we go. I will be debating Bowler Hat Man this Wednesday at 7 p.m. on his channel. I hope our conversation will be interesting and entertaining. And indeed, that was 11 days ago. So the actual debate took place last Wednesday, just over a week ago, and the video was on Bolly's channel. And Neil says, debating what topics, Ben? And I reply, he wants to stick to the Ukraine crisis. That's why he posted in the live chat on my video the other night. Mind you, I don't mind if he wants to cover other topics. Indeed, we did go on to other topics as well. It went quite well, I think. I think I won the debate, if you can call it that, although he'll no doubt claim the same. We did go into other areas, yeah. If you remember, Bolly, the Bowler Hat Man, it was in the middle of the Ukraine live stream, and he suddenly pops up in the bloody live chat, and this is like, what? It's like, I haven't heard from this bloke for years. I interviewed him on my channel about 6 years ago. He was on HPANWO radio. Then he said then I wrote back to him and said, do you want to do another interview? And he ghosted me. He ghosted me for like 6 years. And suddenly he appears on my damn live stream saying, debate me on Ukraine, now. He was like stamping his feet. It was unbelievable. He was straw polling the bloody live chat and everything. Do you think Ben should come and debate me now? And I was saying, Lolly, calm down. I'm not going to debate you now. I'm doing another live stream. I'm going to carry on doing the live stream that I advertised to my viewers. I'm happy to debate you another time. No, now, he kept saying. Eventually, I got an email from him. He sent me a play StreamYard link by email. And I persuaded him to arrange a time, which was 7 p.m. the following Wednesday. And we did a live stream. It went over just about an hour and 20 minutes, I think. Check it out on his channel. I've got a link. I put a link on HPANWO Voice as well. Diego Vera says on Los Angeles. Uri Geller says the aliens are going to invade due to that signal they discovered. It repeats every 18.18 minutes. 18 plus 18 is 36 equals 3. 6 seconds. 666. Oh God, 666. The signal is actually not a signal. It appears to be some kind of unusual object. It's 4,000 light years from the Earth, which is close in cosmic terms. And it's very similar to the pulsars that were discovered in much more distantly in the 60s. If you've seen my SETI videos, you'll notice that Susan Jocelyn Bell, the discoverer of the pulsars, when she first published, she actually called them LGM, Little Green Men. And for a while, she really did think they might be a signal from some intelligent civilization, because she'd never seen anything like them before. It turns out it actually was a kind of, it was a particular kind of super dense neutron star that gives out a beam of radiation in a particular direction. And this appears to be something similar, although I don't think these are aliens, Diego Vera. People say, oh, it's 4,000 light years away. That's very close. There are real aliens out there, but they're much closer. They're like 0 light years. In other words, they're here on Earth. So Geller, I think, is doing. Sometimes he says things just to get his name in the papers. You see, he says aliens are going to invade. Well, aliens have already invaded. They invaded a long time ago. Many, many years ago. Probably even before humans evolved. So, you know, it's too late. It's a bit of a slightly fait accompli, I would say. Charles said underneath, there are trillions of signals that have been discovered, all of them different because, you know, it's what signals do. Nothing significant in finding one that seems to be designed is there. Yeah, Charles is right, actually. Yeah, I think this is a natural object, and the scientists discovering it seem to think it's a natural object. If there's going to be any kind of alien invasion, it's probably going to be a fake one. That's what concerns me. There are natural objects that can do that, like I said, that can produce very regular signals, what appears to be a regular repeating signal. Diego Vera says, tell that to Uri Geller. Charles controls Uri Geller, don't you know that? Oh, here we go. Sorry, Charles, I should let you get the jokes in first about Charles, shouldn't I? He says, I just tried to. I'm transmitting, but he isn't receiving. Just keep doing it, man. Just keep doing him, man. Do him. Just imagine he's got an organic garden and he's in big trouble. Do him. Okay, so now we move on to Withrin Michaelis discussing Satanism. Charles, you'll have to be faster, Crafty. Crafty Nihilist says, bugger it. Oh, yeah, they have a race. Did you see him get the first comment in? Charles says, consider it. Then Crafty says, bugger it. Charles says, consider it buggered. Crafty, wish I hadn't considered it, to be honest. Je suis tadpole, says on Withrin Michaelis. Censorship. What's this here? It's a YouTube link. Ads. What's this? Hang on. BBC rejects Noel Cowell's Mad Dogs and Englishmen. Oh, God, no! Oh, God, hang on. I'm just going to go through the ads to put the ads. I want to see how long. If this is a short one, I'll play it. But Mad Dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. Oh, it's a skip button. There we go. Oh, it's 8 minutes. Sorry.
On the actual content, too.
Oh, it's just crazy. This is absolutely ridiculous. It's going everywhere. I'll give you another example, actually, in the third part of this show. Because there's this... Because the wokerati have found another target. I'll explain more in how many minutes' time? In 28 minutes' time, I'll explain more. But yeah, it's a really Noel Coward was a he was a really funny guy, actually. He was gay, and he was very ostentatiously gay, and he did these kind of crooning songs that were popular at that time. And just we carries on, and they've renamed themselves MAI now, Minor Attracted Individuals. Oh, God, yes. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Would love to interview one day, Ben. Well, I've actually got in contact with Jasui on Facebook, and she does. We're discussing. She hasn't actually got a show yet, but she's hoping to set one up, and I'd be glad to be a guest, Jasui. Definitely. She's not French. She's Scottish, despite her name. A bit like Mary, Queen of Scots. But yeah, but the other way round. She was called Mary Queen of Scots, but she was French, yeah. But yeah, this is, I mean, Rin and I have discussed this in a previous show, the one about cuties. Paedophiles, you see, people go about paedophiles, they say, oh, but they would abuse themselves and things like that. You've got to be sympathetic to them. All right, well, that's what psychotherapy is for. I do honestly, if someone says I'm attracted, that says that they have paedophilic feelings, and they want to get help and they want to go to the doctors and seek psychotherapy, I'm all in favour of that. I'll be happy that I'll say, good, at least you're doing something about it. You know there's something wrong with you, and you're doing something about it. The problem I have with society now, which Rin and I were discussing, is that they're trying to turn that into something normal. They're trying to say, no, there's nothing wrong with you. You know, people used to think that if you were gay, you were mentally ill and you had to have treatment. You know, and now people are saying, well, you know, maybe people who are paedophiles don't really need treatment. Let's call them minor attracted individuals now. Minor attracted. It's so sinister. It's horrible for someone who has a child like me. Well, she's not a child anymore, but she was, and I remember what it was like when she was a child. It's horrifying. And this is I think is the most sinister part of this entire agenda. In fact, just we sent me some links on Facebook about like this. There's a protect children organisation in Scotland now, because the Nicola Big Fish, her government, or you know what they're like? They're a bunch of Eurocentric lovies. And look how they're dragging on the lockdown as long as they can. They're determined to get us to milk every single drop out of it, aren't they? Yeah. Charles says on Rin McKinnis' video, "Look, everyone, Ben's talking to a girl. They must be going steady." Well, you should know, Charles. She's Agent Rin. Charles says on the same video, "Ben now has two women in his life at the same time. Scandalous." Timestamp. What's this then? Oh, it's the end. Oh, that's the end. Yeah, what's this? Oh, timestamp 1:37:40. What's this?
Gatekeepers in the sense that, yeah, they are going to like harass
It's
people
Terry.
with sock puppet accounts because they want to.
It's Terry Joyce. What does she say here? Oh, hang on. Did I put a comment on this one? I did, yeah. Oh, I put a comment in there saying that Charles was saying he's getting fed up with people. And I said, well, I'm glad you're still comfortable with me and Steve mumbling. And Charles says, you and Steve have been there from the start and you'll be there to the end. We will indeed, yeah. And Charles says, completely different to what I'm talking about here, Ben. Yourself and Steve have a robust rivalry, but there's no nasty, vindictive angle to it at all. It's just a robust rivalry. That's correct. That's absolutely correct, Charles, yeah. That's absolutely great. Hang on, I almost put in a bloody timestamp. That's Terry's video. That's Terry Joyce. Anyway, what's Terry talking about here? I did watch a bit of this.
Break down the people that might be questioning something that has some truth to it, or might be, really looking for something.
It's called UFO Media, New Age Sock Puppet Accounts, and Online Cyberbullying. I have two women in my life at the same time. Terry's not in my life. In fact, neither is Rin. Terry, Rin lives an awfully long way from me, and Terry lives even further. If you knew how far away they live from me, we've never met. If we had to meet up for a date and say, well, let's where are we going to go for a date tonight, Terry? I don't know. Let's meet halfway. Okay, Newfoundland. Watch out for the polar bears. But Terry calls me. Terry knows me. I mean, she thinks my name is Ben Emily. Oh, right, we got all right, anyway, I know that the video you're talking about, I did have a conversation with Charles on that video. In the text comment section under Terry's thing. Terry focuses a lot on drama, actually. I do watch some of her stuff, but not all of it. She actually uploads and live streams quite a bit. She's cool. She's all right. I like her. Sean O'Nilbud. That's a real one. That's with Rin McKinnis. Oh, God. His bloody avatar is an EU flag. Oh, dearie me. We have a Ramona in our midst. Magic is not real. Grow up. Go and read The Guardian, Sean. And Marky Boy says underneath, okay, interesting theory, mate. Riverin again, our Scottish friend, Mr. Gianluca Viali, says, I'm really looking forward to Ben. Cheers. I'm really looking forward to, Ben. Cheers, bro. Oh, you're welcome, Gianluca. Hope you like it. I think Rin and I did a good job, actually. Another comment on the same video. This is from someone, I think this is someone Greek. Erasmia Vosikis. That sounds very Greek. Fantastic conversation, Ben. So good to see. First time meeting your guest. She's so authentic. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Erasmia. She is. Rin, like I said, Rin is somebody I can really relate to, even though, like we said, we're very different in many ways. It's her open-mindedness, but also her judicious nature that really impresses me. That she doesn't jump on sort of internet lynch mobs and things like that. In fact, she speaks out against them. That's what I really admire about her, I think. Same video, Woody Black. Oh, JR stands for John Ratcliffe. I thought it meant Junior. No, it's John Ratcliffe. That's right, yeah. And Crafty says, so did I. Charles says, Alex Jones is hospital porter senior. It's a family business. Yes, Alex Jones is my father. He's not only Bill Hicks. He's my dad. So there's two conspiracy theories there rolled into one. Last of the Wild Man says, NZ Posties, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order. Hey, how you doing, mate? How you doing? Could you deliver a rude message to that anorexic cow with the big horsey teeth in charge of your country? What's her name? Ardern. Going on about, we're going to build back beta by putting people under lock and key. You can't go out and you can't go to the cinema. You can't go anywhere unless you have your V word. Anyway, Last of the Wild Man says, I got made redundant from my postie job and now work for myself. Hey, well, good for you. That's great. I did the same thing. I got sacked from hospital reporter and ended up, I was lucky enough to get into self-employment. If you can do that, then it's very, very good. It's difficult to start at the bottom and build yourself up if you've got bills to pay and things like that. But, Wild Man, I was lucky enough I basically took over the work of somebody else. Basically, it was my daughter's uncle. He had like a round of clients. He was self-employed too, and he was retiring. And so basically, I took over his business. I was very lucky indeed. And I now work for myself. I still hope to buy your pint in Oxford sometime. Ha! Cheers, living man, Peter. Thanks, NZ Postie, Peter. Anytime you like, mate. You can. It's a long way to go, halfway around the world, but you can come to Oxford, and you don't have to worry about masks and V-word passports and things like that over here. So it's best that if it's a choice between your place or mine, or let's say my place. But it's good to hear from you. Good to hear from you. I'm sorry about what's happening in your country. I saw the protest the other day. The convoys was there, and that lady. I know she took her clothes off. I mean, people do that sometimes at protests. But they dragged her out by her hair and handcuffed her. It was disgusting. Okay, this is with Ren here again, and it's Jojo Rumbles. Does she? The Democrats in the US have an internal war going on. The majority of the party is right-wing corporatist, as in pandering to the rich elites over the will of the people. Then there's the actual left, which are a minority in the party. Biden, who is in no way a leftist... Yeah, that's true. And what's more... So I'll just pause for a moment, Jojo, because there's absolutely no doubt that the right-wing corporatist element under Clinton and people like that were quite happy to use them. Indeed, so did the Obamas. We're quite happy to use the loony left. In fact, it's very, very different from the Labour Party over here, which try to suppress the far left element of the party. The Democrats use them. They pander to them to get into power, and then they say, right, don't need you anymore. Goodbye. Biden, who is in no way a leftist. No, the lefties love him just because he's not Trump. They'd love anyone who's not Trump. You could like put a wig on a speak your weight machine and put him into the White House, and they'd love him instead of Trump, which is essentially what's happened. Except a speak your weight machine has more sort of intelligence than Biden. But anyway, sorry, carry on. He won not because he was a great candidate, but rather because Trump was such a shit candidate. Honestly, if it was Trump versus a ham sandwich, the ham sandwich would have won. I personally would have voted for the ham sandwich over Trump. Now, this is where we differ considerably, Jojo. Trump was an excellent candidate. Trump was a great leader, and he didn't lose. Well, he didn't lose. Well, there's only so much I can say on YouTube here. But put it this way: his loss was somehow, what should I say, accelerated artificially. Just think about all the vans that were turning up with extra boxes at the polling stations. And yeah, where do we go? And if Biden was versus a ham sandwich, I think sandwich would win. They're both awful, but Trump was significantly worse. Now, I mean, you're right about Biden, but not about Trump. Back to the main topic. I find it really bizarre that you're discussing Satanism, yet couldn't be bothered to speak with an actual Satanist or even an expert in Satanism. Well, I think, you can't... I don't think that's absolutely essential. Many, many times I see discussions, public discussions between people who are not experts or actual on all kinds of things. On the news, they regularly have discussions on space travel without anyone being an astronaut or an engineer or anything. So I did. I mean, I think it's only a problem if you make pretensions of expertise when you don't have them. I don't think Rin and I did that. We didn't make any pretensions. We just said we just both worked from our own knowledge of the subject and built upon that. But Jojo says, what possible conversation could be had about a topic between two people who are entirely ignorant on said topics? Well, I don't think we're entirely ignorant. We're not experts, but, we can't be experts on everything. I think we had a pretty good discussion on it, and I think I did deliver the basics of the thing properly, and so did she. It would be like two stoned teenagers trying to discuss quantum physics. Amusingly stupid, yet pointless. Yeah, well, I actually have seen two teenagers, in fact, more than two teenagers who are stoned trying to discuss quantum physics. And, even though it is amusing, obviously it's not pointless. Obviously, I'm not saying that their discussion is a replacement from old Coxie going, oh, I know everything, or anything like that, okay? And I'm not saying that my discussion with Rin is a replacement to experts on Satanism coming forward and saying things. Funnily enough, I know a guy who claims to be an expert on Satanism, but we're not really on very good terms. Anyway, Jojo, thanks for the comment. Oh, lesbian eBay reselling. Oh, here, with Rin Michaelis. Another nut job video from the controlled opposition. Oh, God, it's Richard D. Hall again. It's Richard D. Hall's sock puppet account. Yes, he's a shill. He's controlled opposition. He's a psyop. He's a psyop. Richard, you can, if you want to post messages to me, even rude ones, you can do it under your own name, I won't delete you or block you or anything. Charles says underneath, it's about TV shows and a rollicking good one. It was too. Minimal tinfoil content there. Oh, thank you, Charles. Exactly. Well, you can't go all tinfoil with Rin. I tried once and she wasn't having any of it. But, yeah, Richard's... Richard, I mean, it may not be your complete cup of tea, but I like it. I like talking to Rin, definitely. Apollo Detectives 9, Charles. Blathering nonsense, that is all. Oh, goodness me. Channeling is in the mumbling again. What am I doing for time? I've got to do something. There's 13 minutes remaining. Right, you are. Okay, Charles takes a walk through town, part 1. Oh, this is this is a really old comedy video from about 2009, I think. When did I actually make this video? Let's have a look. Oh, where is it? Here we go. View on YouTube. Oh, hang on. Get out. Stop doing that. 1st of October 2012. Oh, my goodness me. That's an old one. It is old, yeah. That's an old one. Now, let this be a lesson to all you tinfoil hat enthusiasts. This is how a pro does it. Yeah, I was walking through the streets of Derby. I'd just been to see Richard D. Hall and Andrew Johnson at their Not the 6 o'clock news thing. We just had a beer with Richard, actually, in a pub. This was in the days when he used to condescend to socialise with the lower classes, which he doesn't do anymore, because we're all shills. But we did have a pint with Richard, and he thought it was... I think it was actually after this I did this. And I thought I'd do a little Comedy Charles video, yeah. Yes, almost as good as the real thing, eh, Charles? David Smith says on Rin Michaelis, hi, Ben, I'm not a solicitor, but I have heard of cases where people with cartoon pictures and anime have been convicted. Just something to be careful of. Yeah, okay, I've actually looked into this since you wrote it, and actual hentai, that is erotic anime, is banned in certain countries. Japan, I think Japan itself, where it comes from, has a very, very has quite strict laws about it. There are several other countries, mostly in the Far East, that don't allow it. But it's not David, I'm not the sort of person who's going to be downloading them anyway and like distributing and selling them to people anyway, am I? It's not something I particularly like, So I'm as pure as the driven shinomi. Charles says underneath, unusually these people are giggling stoners who thinks it's funny. The animators, not the lawyers. Oh, yeah. Battle of Los Angeles 80th. Charles says, Ben, you're Welsh, right? Yes, I am. Welsh people like to sing. Do you also like to yodel? Oh, right. Welsh people sing, but we don't yodel. No, that's Switzerland where they do the yodeling. In Wales we sing bread of heaven, oh, or sosban bawr, twy beri ar y ton, sosban fawr, and things like that. Do you also like to yodel? Here, I'll teach you. Repeat after me. Yodel, 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 O-D-O. Oh, don't you O-D-O me. Charles only went and posted stuff on Rin's channel, didn't he? He posted a comment on one of Rin's videos saying, contact Ben and ask him if he's an ODO. Go on, do it. I dare you, I dare you. Anyway, Rin then DM'd me on Twitter saying, hey Ben, what does ODO mean? And I thought, oh good, here we go. And I said, it stands for Operating Department Orderly. And suddenly I went back and I realised what had happened, and that Charles was completely confusing somebody with a hospital in-joke. Luckily, Rin didn't ask too many questions because it would have required so much explanation. If you want to know what I mean by ODO, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to explain everything. Look, go to, where is it? I'll show you what to go to. I'm tired of just repeating everything I do on... Yeah, I'm tired of repeating everything I do on HPANWO TV because you guys don't go to... Here we go. The gas spanner Programme 19. As you can see here, subjects discussed on this show include the infamous ODO affair. There you go. And that was uploaded 5th of February, and it's on HPANWO Radio. There you go. All the answers are on there. Bluebean says underneath, I thought we Germans only do effing yodel. Oh my god. Charles says underneath, it's a special yodel just for Ben. I bet he loved it. Yodel, odeo, odeo. I'll tell you what, where did you hear about this ODO stuff, Charles? Did you hear about it? Did you read the HPWA blog? Because that's what kind of started it all off, didn't it? Yeah. Anyway, here we go. There's a thread here with Rin. Ben, we only watch for your waffling. I know. Which is what you're doing right now, Charles. It's the Crafty Nihilist, sorry. The Crafty Nihilist watches for my waffling, yeah. Charles says, if you listen very closely, you can hear the cogs clacking about in there. Yeah. It's like when it's one of these things. I have my own programming, which is running in here. Crafty Nihilist. Read that as clogs. Gives it a whole new narrative. Charles, he has a lot of secret clothes he uses for his proclivities. Oh God, Charles knows everything about me, so yeah, I should know that. He can read my mind. Crafty, Ben's proclivities. Please God, don't let me make that video. Charles, the first one did enough psychological damage, but if you're up for it, why not? Crafty, not up for it. Not up for it. Charles, it's a shame because Ben is up all night. They did go and make that video, didn't they? All right, here we go. Charles on Rin. Come out of there, Granville. Oh, that's a reference to Open All Hours, a classic TV show with Ronnie Barker and David Jason. It's absolutely brilliant, that, Battle of Los Angeles. Steve mumbling. I was there on one of these live streams, but as I wrote at the time, I was having my breakfast. I was only there around 15 minutes. That's why I didn't post anything else. All right. I told Sue Hayward-Tonkin to go knock on your door, but she didn't. Either that or she knocked on the door and you couldn't be bothered to get up. Come on, Steve. Get up and post in live. I might do them a little bit later than 7 p.m. my time, actually. Reply to comments 53. Look at Ben's bed, people. He left his chrome mind-control cranial device for us all to see. You're busted, Ben. Found it hard to believe anyone legitimately falls for the amiable buffoonery. Yeah, I haven't got it there now. It's actually a salad bowl. It's this. This thing here. I eat out of it, or sometimes I put it on my head there, to alter my memories, like in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. You can see that prop. That prop was actually made out of a salad bowl. You can tell. It's a good film. That I have reviewed it on her. If you want to see it. Making dignity statements, part 1. Another dignity statements. Punch the air for Richard D. Hall. Yes. They're punching the air. Punching the air. It's the EU. The EU. Making it same video. Charles, this is an old one. Charles is going through my old ones here. Same video. So Ben, you were trying to start your own cult, were you? I did try. It didn't work though. That's the problem, Charles. I did the best I could. Charles says here. Same video. My God, Ben, everything's a sex with you, isn't it? Pull down someone's pants and put your finger on it. Absolutely ran. Did I? I don't remember what I said in this video, but everything's sex with you, isn't it? Oh, dearie me. I wish. Pull down someone's pants and put your finger. Did I actually say that in the video? It's so long ago I made that video. That was one of the videos that got me into trouble, actually. Funnily enough, it was over a year after I made it, but there you go. Okay, physical dignity statements, part 2. All right, Charles is going through these old ones. More NLP from Ben. Talking about a hot, steely office woman while nude. Then says this came up. Oh, who was I talking about? Oh, dearie me. You've watched these really old videos of mine. I can't remember what's in them. I remember, it's the physical dignity statement is like, oh, right, so I did that. So I was walking down the corridor and I did that to somebody. But I can't remember who it was. It was not a hot, steely office woman. I can't stand most of those women anyway. And then he says, Russell should have seen this years ago because he would still be in 3 dimensions if he did. Russell, sorry. I didn't get it. I'm sorry about that, Russell. I didn't get you quick enough. Charles says here, making dignity statements part 2. Hospital porters' pride and dignity, and you want to know how they can be made offensive, right? ODO, did that work? It certainly did. Oh goodness me! Honestly, if you only listen to that radio show or read the article on the HPWO, which I think Charles has read, you know what I'm talking about. I say, get the first comment quick because I just uploaded a new video at that moment. Charles says a thief. Charles sometimes lets other people rent them to be kind. Aww. Okay, TV programs. A hospital porter reacts. Kelly says, grateful for you posting to YouTube, Ben, as I'm not a fan of Facebook for my own private reasons. I don't blame you, Kelly. I'm not a fan of it either. I use it. I use it to communicate. I don't like it. If everyone I knew on Facebook moved to me, we, and mine, so I'd do the same. She goes on. I hope that you're taking care of yourself, as carers rarely do. I am Chiron, the wounded healer, Kelly. It's in my star sign. You give and never take, but need to take a step back to recharge, as I did today. The difference in me is beyond fantastic. It's funny you said that, Kelly, because this actually came up. There was a rather upsetting incident on last week's HPANWO show. That's on last Thursday's HPANWO show, program 452. Because the crafty nihilist was in chat, and I won't go into details, but something happened, and they had to leave because of something I did, and I was very sorry. I emailed and I apologised, and they accept my. And this all came out on the. I'm not breaching confidence here. It all came out on the program, but it made me realise that I'm perhaps a bit too. I'm getting desensitised. And indeed, desensitization is a psychological defense mechanism. Indeed, people in the hospital have to use it all the time because of the very harrowing things you have to deal with. But it's possible I'm being desensitized to some of the more nasty aspects of the conspirasphere in terms of some of the most horrible secrets and conspiracies going on. So, yeah, I mean, it's funny you should put this comment in there 4 days ago, which is just before the last Thursday, and you're absolutely right. I think I do need to take a step back. I don't want to take a step back from everything on HPANWO, but I need to manage my exposure to horrors. And I'm glad the difference in you is fantastic. I hope it will be for me too. So thanks for that comment, Kelly. Thank you very much. Same video, Diego Rivera says, what about Arthur Conan Doyle? He believed in the supernatural. He did indeed. He had long debate. He was good friends with Houdini, but they had long debates about things. And in the end, Houdini fell out with him because I think they fell out with each other because he actually accused Houdini of lying, which I don't think he was. Houdini's an interesting chap, actually, because he did an experiment. I mean, I've talked about this before. He actually did leave a coded message with his wife, Bess, and said at one point, look, if I die suddenly, then, this is a coded message I'll use when I come back and contact you. He did die suddenly. He died on Halloween night, 1926. He got into a fight with someone and was fatally injured. According to the skeptics, he never got the coded message back. But according to a source, the Reader's Digest 1983 Encyclopedia of the Paranormal, which is a present from my brother Porter, the coded message did come back. And it was real, yeah. TV programs, HQcom S65 says, don't watch TV, it's poison, Ben. I hardly ever do watch it. I mean, all the programs I was referring to in this particular were old ones. They were old programs from years ago, and I only watch the DVD copies now. I don't watch modern TV because it's so you're right, it is poison. I think I made this point in the program, comms. Ravenhill says television nowadays is truly utter shit, no other words for it. Black people in every advertisement. What's going on? Okay, I will answer that properly in the next segment. Okay, welcome to hour number 3. Is this going to be inside 3 hours again? Hope so. Anyway, I'm going to do something now. I'm going to break a little rule. As you know, one of my rules is I don't drink when I'm making videos or doing live streams and things like that. I'm going to break that rule now. I'm going to open my little can here of Thatcher's Gold Cider. Yes, no one's paying me to do this. They're not paying me. It's Old Somerset firm, established 1904. Is not paying me to do this. Ice. I think I've overdone it with the chill a little bit. It's kind of icy. Not to worry, it'll soon thaw out. Why is that, Ben? Why are you drinking cider when you're supposed to be focused on doing your video, your comments reply video? Well, I'm doing it because you may have heard that the Wokerati have targeted Thatcher's Gold Cider. I'm not exactly sure what the details are, but details don't really matter. They say it's an old firm from Somerset. Apparently it's got some connection to Edward Coulston, this guy who's caused so much controversy in Bristol, even though he lived about 300 years ago. The guy who had his statue torn down. Apparently there's some connection between Thatcher's cider and colonialism and slavery. The usual thing the wokists go on about. And so they have cancelled Thatcher's cider. So as soon as that happened, red rag to a bull, I went out and I bought a pack of 12. A big box like that. I'll show you it. I went out and got that. It's like, I don't do, you see, this is, of course I'll be denounced for doing that, because by the simplistic fools who think in those terms. I haven't started the timer yet, I'll do it now, only a minute or two out. They'll say, oh, you support slavery, colonialism then. No, I don't. I don't at all. It's just, I'm just so fed up with these people. Being a white man and having this constant rhetoric this constant abuse hurled at me, not for who I am, but because of what I am. It's just got to the point where I say, I don't care. I just want to be transgressive. You see, one thing the left often say is they go like, oh, we want white people to be more compassionate. Well, how much compassion have we been shown? I don't feel any compassion anymore for these issues, because all the compassion's been beaten out of me. Any compassion we show is immediately weaponized against us. It's used to make us feel guilty and things like that. If you listened to Thomas Barden-Rees last night when I was on his show, you'll know that. So go ahead, call me a racist, call me anything you like, I don't care. I don't care if people think I'm that, I don't care if people call me that. I'm through with caring about it all. Colonial slavery is evil, it's racist. Cheers. If you think about it, Thatcher's now, the cider company, has the ultimate advertising slogan, don't they? Thatcher cider, so good it was cancelled by the left. You can put it on all the posters and everything. Anyway, right, that's enough rabble rousing. Let's go back to the. Anyway, the next comment might be a bit rabble rousing. If to answer Ravenhill's comment, you now, I personally, Ravenhill, I don't object per se to black people being in advertisements. I really don't. If Jamnoy72 wants to advertise bikinis, that's absolutely fine by me. I think what I object to, and I think this possibly is what you mean as well, because I don't think you're a hateful person. You don't come across as hateful. Is that sometimes you get non-white people who are put into adverts, specifically into positions where you know they are displacing where white people normally would be, or in the more detailed adverts, which kind of have a storyline, they tend to play the good guys, whereas white people play the bad guys. For example, the Gillette. This horrible Gillette advert that cost them £8 billion, good, which I objected, I actually grew a beard in protest at that. But they had these adverts where all the bad people were white men, every single one, and all the non-white people in the adverts and the women were good. There was one black guy who was like the guy at the barbecue going, "Oh, boys will be boys." He was the only non-white person who showed any kind of antagonism, and that's unfair. And this is a pattern I see repeated across the media everywhere. Even in lovable franchises like Star Trek, you have there's the old white guy in I think it was Star Trek Voyager, and he's completely incompetent. He gets everything wrong, and whenever he's trying to do anything, you get all the sort of like the women. And the people of colour, they roll their eyes and go, "Oh, I'll show you how to do it, Grandad." You know, that sort of thing. It's Dave Cullen of Computing Forever. He talks about that sort of thing. So what's going on is it's something very sinister, I think. And it's not because they don't like white people. I mean, this is the question I always give the distant right. You know, why don't they like white people for some reason? And the answer is, well, they don't. They want to get rid of white people. And I say, why? Well, there's never really been a satisfactory answer to that. And the answer is, they don't specifically dislike white people. They dislike all people. I think they regard us all the same way, whether you're white, black, woman, a man, gay or straight, Jewish, Chinese. I think they regard all of us as essentially another species of farm animal. They're not doing this because they don't like white people and they want to get rid of white people. They're doing it because it's something strategic. It's an act of psychological warfare. That's why they're doing it. And it's, however much it might appear, and of course it's extremely destructive, and I'm totally against it. I'm totally against this propaganda. As a white person, because I feel it myself as a white person, but I think I can see the bigger picture and realise what's really going on here is more complicated. So that's my take on that. TV programs, a hospital reporter reacts. Duh. Next time, Minions. Next time. Oh, Charles took ages to get that comment in, didn't he? TV programs. Jeff Sperry says, as I don't watch TV nowadays, as I can't bear the box-ticking wokeness bias. I know what you mean, Jeff. I must go back to the 70s, 80s for my favourites, which are too many to mention here. There are a few. Boys from the Black Stuff are truly gritty classics. Tales of the Unexpected, a Sunday night must for me. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Oh, there was some... God, they were geniuses in those days, weren't they? They were absolutely really, really good. Bernard Hill, it was his classic role he did. He's gone on to do other things, Bernard Hill. For example, he played King Theoden in Lord of the Rings. But he was this classic. He goes, "Give us a job, mate. Give us a job," in his Scouse accent. That was a great series. There were so many others. Tales of the Unexpected. That was based on Roald Dahl. I mean, this is what I mean by the fact that this is what I said in the program. The advancement of technology, which has allowed us to enjoy television far more than ever before, plus a massive increase in funding and budget and investment into television productions, has come at the very same time, the very moment that the TV as an art form has lost its creative spirit, in the same way that the big screen has. This is why Hollywood are continuously doing remakes and stupid adaptations and unnecessary and sometimes pretty awful sequels. They can't think of anything else to do. They're suffering from writer's block. They all are. And I think that's very ironic. And someone was saying, I think Ravenhill said, don't watch TV, it's poisonous. I don't watch, what's on there on the box being broadcast right now, hardly at all. I only watch it occasionally just to see how we're being conned and how we're being propagandized. The stuff I watch is the stuff you like. The 70s, the 80s, things like comedies like Fawlty Towers, and things like that, and brilliant drama series like Boys from the Black Stuff, and there's others like the Likely Dads. I like what happened to the Likely Dads. That's good. Very good indeed. And Jamno72, aforementioned bikini saleswoman. Yeah, bro, I just got too excited seeing you mention Good Omens. Yeah, bring on second series. Hugs, soul brother. Hugs to you too, Jackie, soul sister. And I said, so glad you're a fan too, sis. Funny enough, this Good Omens, it was actually Lisa of Cry Freedom. She was the one who told me about Good Omens, and I watched it thinking, shrug, I'll watch it. I was hooked the moment it started. It is outstanding, and I didn't realise there'd be a second series, because it did seem like the end at the end of the first series. But according to Jackie, yes, she did inform me, there's going to be a second series, so fantastic. And she said, I just knew you would love this too, bro. I'm a big fan now. Bit late, but still lol. And I didn't see it when it first came out. I caught it on Amazon Prime. And it's superb. It's, as I said in the program, you can just watch the TV programs. A Hospital Porter Reacts. I talk about Good Omens. But Jackie wrote to me and told me about it, and I'd already seen it. She must have known. We sort of sense each other's likes and dislikes, Jackie and I, and she must have sort of sensed that I'd like that. TK says, "Well done, Ben." Thanks, TK. Steve Mumbling on this is on TV programs. Steve Mumbling puts on TV programs a YouTube link. What's this? Oh, The Prisoner video unavailable. The Prisoner opening sequence. It's apparently it's actually unavailable in this country, Steve. But I know it. Steve, as I explained, it's a brilliant series. I don't know what you think of it, but it's fantastic. And of course, your country has produced the only soap opera I like these days, which is, of course, is Prisoner Cell Block H. So yeah, I mean, Australia specialises in soap operas, and most of them are as bad as the British ones, but this one's good. This one's really good. And Charles says, "Shh, Ben thinks that's real." No, it's not. It's not real. I know it's a drama series about a man. As I said, he's a former intelligence officer who tries to resign and is taken to this very strange prison camp. And the rest, of course, is as I explained. And it's not real, but it is an incredible allegory. It's really the most astonishing allegory of... It's sort of symbolic of the world we live in. Rather like They Live and these other films, it's symbolic of our world. Same video, Charles says, "Where do you get the time to watch TV? Between admiring Brian Cox and defying Richard D. Hall?" Well, that takes up a few hours every day, I'll tell you. "Stopping the New World Order, expanding your kingdom, in the Falstaffian sense, and popping Russell." So where do you get the time popping Russells? I only popped one Russell. The second one has actually lasted much longer. The second one is okay. I suppose you mean Sir John Falstaff, who's let me just Google that, because that's from Shakespeare. Sir John Falstaff. There's a pub called that, actually. There's a fictional character who appears in the plays of William Shakespeare, a fully developed character, a companion to Prince Hal. Oh yeah, yeah. He's a boastful knight. I thought so. He's described as prodigious. People have said he's a prodigious and very large and life character. Yeah, so that's me, I suppose, in expanding my kingdom, because he's very large and chubby. I think that's what you mean, don't you? Yeah. But I am a knight. And Jamnoy72 has a A channel, yeah. What's this? Oh.
This farce.
Oh, right. Oh, hang on. Let me just give you screen share here on this. This is the scene. Here we go. This is great. This is
Farce. This 20th century Bastille that pretends to be a pocket democracy. Why don't you put us all into solitary confinement until you get what you're after and have done with it? That's enough! In your hearts must still be the desire to be a human being again. I will not be pushed, filed, stamped, indexed, briefed, debriefed, or numbered.
Yeah.
My life is my own. Is it?
Or J-word,
Yes,
yeah.
You won't hold me.
Yep. My life is my own. Brilliant, Jackie. That's on Jam Noise 72's channel. Yep. Brilliant. And it says or Jade. Yeah. Or J-worded. Absolutely. Well done. And of course, you saw my talk, didn't you? You saw my talk I did at. You saw my talk in Oxford. Yeah. Thank you very much, Soul Sister. Well done for uploading that. Gary Robinson says on TV programmes, hey, Ben, mate, I'm also old enough to remember the launch of Channel 4. Yay! Yes, I seem to remember the first broadcast was at night, as I remember staying up late to watch it. Well, I don't know which country you were in, Gary, because it was actually in the evening. I got home from school, and I switched on the TV, and the first ever programme was Countdown, I remember. It all launched. There was a big hoo-ha about it launching, because this was the first new channel I'd ever known. There'd literally been no other channel since ITV came out around in the 50s, and then suddenly in the 80s we have this new channel. And I thought everyone's going to think it's wonderful. It was going to be very, very art and entertainment and kind of mixed. I watched the first ever episode of Countdown. Let's see if it's... Hang on, here we are. You actually say, welcome to the new channel. Let's have a look. Hang on. First Channel 4. Let's see the opening. First Channel 4 program. Let's see. First Channel 4 program. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Right. So let me just go to screen cap. Here we go. Well, we can't watch all of it, I think. We can watch some of it. Here we go. That's not it. Oh, hang on. Is it? Oh, here we go. Channel 4 launch. I'll just skip through. Here we go.
Offering a variety of new and interesting...
Oh, here we go. Look. Oh, look. Here we are. Countdown.
Hello, good evening. And as the countdown to a brand new channel ends, a brand new countdown begins. This countdown is a quiz game that all of you can play at home.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'll watch after this program. I'll watch all of that. It's about 6 minutes long, nearly. But that's great. It's there. I didn't realise it was there. But I was there, Gary. I got home from school and I thought I've got to watch that. And I was like, yeah, I thought there might be children programs on. There weren't children's programs on it, but I still watched. I think I watched all of the first Countdown. Of course, is Countdown still going today? Is Countdown still? I don't watch it, you see. Countdown TV show. Is it still going today? So it is a British game show, yeah. It's been running since 1982. Over 7,000 episodes. One of the longest running game shows in the world. It's still going on, yeah. It's got a French version, yeah. And it's got a Dutch one as well. I remember seeing it in the Netherlands, yeah. How about that, eh? That is a bit of TV history there. Same video, Dean Z says, I usually tend to avoid TV unless I seek it out. My favourite series of all time is Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and it still makes me laugh all the time. I've not seen that, Dean Z. I've actually not seen that one. Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, was a really interesting series exploring robots and AI in alternative timeline from after the second film. All right, I've not seen that either, but to be honest, the third Terminator was actually not very good, I thought. You see, the first and second one were pretty good. The second one, oddly enough for a sequel, improved on the first, the original James Cameron one. Honestly, I thought that Sarah Connor was a great character. What's her name? What's her name? Hamilton's character, Linda Hamilton, was very, very good. Despite the fact it was feminist propaganda, I still thought that was a very good characterization. The third one was pretty bad. I didn't even watch the new sort of weird asexual gender neutral one. I didn't even go look at it. I thought the trailer was so terrible. Anyway, he carries on. Recently, Dope Sick was a good series on the opioid crisis in America. And the sci-fi series Firefly got an honourable mention. I've not heard of that one. Maybe I'll check those out. Charles says here on programmes, by the way, that thumbnail looks like Ginger Baker after he turned into a grumpy old bastard. I don't know who Ginger Baker is, but I was like this. It's just, I thought I wanted to do a like really bored TV look for this particular video, so I went like that. And we have a thread. We have Marley Pumpkin. You are not a hospital porter. Trust you, Marley. I had a feeling you'd be sort of like putting your little tuppence worth in there, wouldn't you? Charles says, all right, he's an ODO. Happy now. Watch it! Watch it! Charles says, and I put an ad for the latest gas banner that I've shown you. He says, I bet it took months to find someone to introduce the show who sounds just like you. Yeah, I eventually found someone who sounds just like me, but it was me. And he says afterwards, Carillion Corps sounds like an evil Star Wars faction. Oh, the Carillion, yes, Carillion Corporation, yeah. It is actually, it's, we used to sometimes hum the Empire March when the head porter's walking along. Dum, 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 do, 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 yeah. Apparently Carillion is the demon in childhood's end. Again, that makes sense perfectly. Corellan. Childhood, yeah, I read that book actually. One of Arthur C. Clarke's classics. It wasn't, but I'm glad you enjoyed I'm glad you're a listener of the gas spanner now, Charles. That's great. He also says it's just. Oh, sorry, that was Je suis Tadpole who said that, not Charles. Yeah, I've read the book Je suis. It was pretty good. Not my favourite Arthur C. Clarke. I used to be nuts on Arthur C. Clarke once. I went through a massive Arthur C. Clarke phase. Read everything the guy had written. Literally, yeah. And Charles says, the NWO thanks you. Yes. It's interesting, isn't it? Humanoid reptilians ruling the world. Where do they get their ideas from? The crafty knowledge says to Marley, you are not a pumpkin. Charles laughs. Oh, Gary Robertson says here on programmes, for over a decade now, TV shows, as opposed to movies, have been a haven for writers and producers who want to make something good. Well, they used to be, Gary. While there's still a lot of awful TV shows been made, the format does allow people to create something with credibility and depth, which is something that can no longer be done with movies, since 99% of people will only go and see a film in the theatre if it features CGI aliens or dinosaurs. Well, I'm one of the 1%, I think, Gary, there. I can't... But I think when you talk about things with credibility and depth these days, there are a few TV programmes, but very few in the modern television medium that does it. I think the things I find with credibility and depth are either old TV shows and old movies, or movies certainly pre-2015 at least, when wokeism really took over. And probably YouTube videos, or it used to be YouTube. It's more likely now BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble. That's where you get depth and credibility. He carries on. An acquaintance of mine in Mexico City has a production company in which his partner is Charlize Theron. Ah, yeah. She was very good, actually, as... she's been quite good in several things. Especially... She actually played Eileen Wuornos, the serial killer, in it's called Monster, I think. There was actually 2 films made of that, and hers is by far the best. She modelled herself on the documentary by, what's his name, Nick Broomfield, called the Selling of a Serial Killer, it was a Selling of a Serial Killer and a sequel. I can't remember. They're both very good. They portray Eileen very sympathetically. I can't feel sorry for her at the end of the film. the life and death of a serial killer. He carries on. They've made a number of films in Hollywood over the years with a lot of big stars, including Jennifer Lawrence, Gail Garcia, Bernal, and Tommy Lee Jones. Who? I'm only kidding. I've heard of Tommy Lee Jones. All of their films are very gritty and immersive and very well written and produced. All right, what's it called? What's it called again? What is your friend's company called? All right, because I do like films like that. I mean, I've been talking to someone on Facebook, and they often recommend me some movies. Yeah, I shouldn't be too negative. There are good films being made today. I watched a really good one last night I've never seen before. It's called The Man in the Hat. It's got Kieran Hines in, who's in loads of things. But he's quite a low budget independent film, and he's a silent. He hardly speaks. I think he says thank you occasionally, merci in French, because it's set in rural France. So yeah, good films are being made. Yeah, and you say here that films are gritty, immersive, well-written and produced. Despite this, he once told me that none of them have ever made money simply because they're not cheesy or sensationalist enough. Yeah, welcome to the world of the true artists with integrity, Gary. You know, it's like Bill Hicks was always saying that, wasn't he? You know, Saul, the suckers of Satan's cock. You know what, though, Ben? I still think the best TV show ever made is Robin of Sherwood. I never realised as a kid how well made that show was in the concept of Herne the Hunter being a shaman in the forest, and choosing different people to represent the hooded man was very clever. Geek fact, Kevin Costner actually wanted to make a movie version of the show, but he couldn't get the investors to agree on the financial side of things, which is why he ended up making that ridiculous Robin Hood movie. Cheers. Robin of Sherwood was very good, yeah. That was a brilliant series. It won lots of awards. I was very fond of it. I think it was a great adaptation of the story. The spiritual side of it with Herne the Hunter. There was lots of magic and things in that. It was very good. Great music by Clannad. Kevin Costner is a very underrated person, I think, because he's a guy who he produces and directs a lot of his own stuff. He's made some right clangers, which I don't think he really wanted to make, because things like Waterworld and The Postman weren't terribly good. But when so he has his off days, and I think it may be to do with, like I say, he gets involved with others. When he really lets himself go, he's fantastic. I mean, Dances with Wolves, which he starred in, directed, etc. That is superb. And it won a lot of Oscars and Golden Globes, very reliable. And I think if he had made a movie version of the TV series, it would have been really great. I don't mind the Robin Hood movie he made. What was it called? Robin King of Thieves or something. It wasn't bad, you know. But it was kind of like a romance, really, with him, and it was a bit shallow. I think it would have been better if he'd been allowed to adapt Robin of Sherwood. Interesting. That's an interesting bit of trivia. I didn't know that, Gary. What's your friend's company called? Because good for them, I think. Okay. Oh, here we have Gary again. I think he's given me a list of things here. And it's on programs. Ben, mate, to be fair, there have been some really good TV shows around in recent years. Here's a mega list for you. Well, I'll be the judge of that, depending on, well, of course, my taste, Gary. I'll depends. But anyway, let's have a look here. The Fowler, The Shrink Next Door, Cobra Cal, Anti-Woke. Oh, well, if it's Anti-Woke, I'll give it a go. I've not seen Kin, The Invasion, The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett. These are Star Wars spin-offs. I've not seen any of those. Ozark, right. Funnily enough, I went round to see my brother yesterday. He's got the coof, but he can take visitors. And he was watching Ozark. The Last Kingdom, Raised by Wolves, that's a Ridley Scott film. Better Call Saul, Physical, Stranger Things, Narcos, Sabura, Black Mirror, Animal Kingdom, Snowfall, Southland Startup. I'll be honest with you, Garrett, I've not seen any of those. I've not seen any of them. And if I watch them and I like them, I'll concur with you. P.S. The programme is about people in East London. Yeah, I cannot stand this type of show. The type of show, as you know, is about programming the sheeple. You know. The programme about people in the East End, yeah, that's EastEnders. Yeah, if you don't have it has it not reached Mexico yet? You're bloody lucky, because it has been dubbed into several languages and shown abroad. It is about programming the sheeple. The irony being that Gone to Seed is the exact opposite. It is also set a contemporary East End of London setting. Gary again on TV programmes. Ben, mate, I've seen an image circulating on Twitter which claims to be a page from a book by a guy called Ralph Epperson that details the 3 steps of all recent world events that push to get people V'd in great detail. Oh, God. The book is listed on Amazon. However, there's a review in which someone is claiming that the book has been updated recently to make it look like it predicted world events, including the stay-at-home parties and mandatory Vs. Yeah, I was wondering if you knew anything about it. Sorry if this is hard to read. I'm trying to avoid keywords. Cheers. I don't blame you, mate. Don't use code. But it's Ralph Epperson. Let's have a look. Ralph Epperson books. The New World Order. How corrupt is Britain? Vladimir Putin life coach. New World Order. Oh my goodness me. I've not heard of these before. And this is a new one, but a new work by Ralph Epperson. New World Order. Ralph Epperson. My goodness me. Looks just up my street, mate. It does. I'll have to check that out. Oh, Hugo's mentioned the flickering. Now, I don't know if I'm flickering now. I've got to get a new webcam. It's a shame because this one is quite... This one is actually not very old. I only got it, it's about a year old, I think. And I just say Hugo mentioned that there's something wrong. It's flickering going on. I'm sorry about that if it's flickering. I will have to get a new webcam. It's not... No, it's not... Hugo says it might be my browser. It's not my browser. No, it is the webcam. Hugo says here... on programs. Quite simply, I'm not sure why I'm watching this. I have not watched TV for over a decade, so I'm totally unaware of any of these broadcasts. But I will continue because everything so far, 25 minutes, everything you've highlighted, I find boring. Thank you. I will probably comment more later. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Obviously, you watched for 25 minutes, Hugo, and can't have been that boring. But if you don't like the TV, you may have a different taste in TV than I do. Programs again, Hatchy. Where are we all coming? This coming from? From Smurfland. We belong. Smurfs are trolls, Ben. Hatchy has a habit of putting in words with exclamation marks, and just all words on their own. Are trolls, Ben, is the only sentence here. It just came out of me. I think it's Father Abraham that invented the fuckers. Another biological name. It's another biblical name. No, the creator of the Smurfs was called Peo, I think. Let's have a look. Smurfs is a Belgian comic franchise. The Smurfs were created by original work. Hang on. By Peo. Yeah, someone called Peo. Pen named Pierre Culliford. So no, it's not. It's actually not. It's actually not. There's no one called Abraham involved. Hugo, Good Omens. Terry, this is programs. Terry Pratchett. I read all his books. So glad you mentioned it. I was unaware of any TV productions of Pratchett. I now must go searching YouTube for it. Many thanks. But it's not on YouTube, Hugo. It's on Amazon Prime. I don't know if you have that. I get it free with my browser. But you probably get it for a couple of quid. You probably rent it for a couple of quid. Ben W says, there are a few TV versions of Pratchett books. They're well worth a watch. I did see a animated adaptation of one of the Discworld novels. I can't remember which one. I've read one of the Discworld novels. I thought it was pretty good. But I've not gone on to read more of them. Terry Pratchett sadly passed away. He was an advocate for euthanasia. So he supports medical euthanasia, which I do too, actually. Hatchie says, programs. Ben, we will need the Ark of the Covenant to bring the walls of Jericho down. It's done before. In modern time, that applies to the forces of evil. The bastards have got in and keep and keep it probably lead-lined in captive state. Love and respect. Hatchie's with you, Ben. Thanks, Hatchie. Love to you too. The Ark of the Covenant, I mean, Graham Hancock did an amazing documentary and has mentioned several times the Ark of the Covenant. Of course, this was the invincible weapon the Israelites used, which was basically a big box which contained the tablets made by God with the Ten Commandments on. There's rumours that there's several rumours of where it could be. I think that the best candidate, I think, is it's called the Church of the Blood, and it's in Aksum, Ethiopia. Yet some people, such as Alan Wilson and Baron Blackett, claim that it is in South Wales, and it could be. But it is said to be it has some kind of, basically the power of God is wielded through it. In other words, massive occult power. It could be interpretation of that. But I think we could know probably in 2 locations where it probably is. I mean, you're never going to get it out the church in Aksum. I mean, it's guarded by the priests there. It's a fascinating story, actually. I actually did a special PANWO show about that once. Hugo says on TV programs, Blake 7, thanks for reminding me. I will now search YouTube for that. It used to be on YouTube. The entire lot was on YouTube. I don't know if it lasts there because it is on BritBox as well. You can watch it on BritBox. Yeah, and it's making a big comeback, actually, Blake 7. It really is. It's becoming more popular. It seems to be a bit like the British, They Live. Charles says, gas banner. So, Ben, you used to take out the absolute rubbish and now you just spruik it, baboom tish. I never anticipated that one, Charles. I really didn't. Hugo says here on TV programs, The Prisoner. I was 10 years old. Yep, recall enjoying it back then. I didn't know better, but now, a load of shit. But I will go searching YouTube. Let's remind myself of how bad it was. Not much better to do. Medically housebound, lol. I know, mate. I know you're stuck in home. I remember you you were in the news, and I saw your predicament. But and all the stuff they were talking about with the growing of the cannabis and stuff like that. But I'm not going to share any links to that, by the way, Hugo. You can do that if you want. It's your business. If you want people to see your little moment of fame. But I'm sorry you don't like The Prisoner. It's not to everyone's taste. I know a lot of people who don't seem to get it. And they just say, oh, this is just silly. It's like weird. People walking around in weird costumes, calling themselves by numbers. I really think it's much more profound than that. It's a great series. Same video, Hugo says, yes, the bouncy ball. The bouncy rubber ball. I recall now what bugged me as a kid. This giant rubber ball was no threat to me. Memories, thanks, Ben. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird thing because you think that's not very intimidating, a big bouncy ball chasing you down the beach. But it is actually a terrible weapon. It can kill and it can incapacitate. It's designed by the creators of the prison to stop people escaping. Hugo says, your liking for Prisoner Cell Block H? Oh, dear. Okay, I did enjoy your opinion. You do go further than me and actually watch them. Myself, I don't watch TV full stop. YouTube only. Well, that's me now, Hugo. So I can only look at old stuff. But after your comments, perhaps I should make an effort. And a few more comments. Sorry, a few beers and a few spliffs. Fair enough. I know sometimes you get a bit incoherent with your emails and your comments, Hugo. But yeah, Prisoners are always popping up on YouTube. In fact, I'm a member of a Prisoners fan club. Prisoner Cell Block H fan club on Facebook, and they're always sort of giving you posted about where it appears and where it's taken down. Most people just have downloaded all of them. You can download all of them, I think. David Splendid Isolation says, Prisoner Cell Block H sucks you in from the start. Val Lehman made the series very special. When she left, it became more bland. Yes, Val Lehman, who played B. Smith, brilliant character, brilliant actress. Yes, superb. Yeah. TV programs, Hugo. 55 minutes onwards. You don't actually watch TV, so do not feel qualified to comment. Well, I don't watch it much anymore, but I used to. I'm with you there. All I can say your TV comments is well said. Agree 100%. Well, actually, I did actually state that it's possible. Is it possible that there are values within this series which I don't just I don't understand? That what seems very lowbrow to me, maybe just because I can't understand it. I don't know. This is why I don't ridicule people's taste. If someone tells me they like EastEnders or something, I say, okay, fine. Physical dignity statements, part 1. Charles says, so essentially, you walk past them while punching the air. Look how much trouble that has gotten you into these days. Yeah, well, I think I was channeling my inner Richard D. Hall when I was a porter, you know. Charles says, on physical dignity statements, part 1 again. Have you heard about the X-ray porter who lied about being a millionaire? He was rubbish because everyone could see right through him. Ba-boom, tish. That's a great one, man. That's a great one. Can I tell that on the gas banner? Because that's so good. TV programs. Liam Nicklin. True Detective Season 1 is absolutely brilliant with its themes of satanic cults and the war between good and evil. It really talks to your soul. All right. The True Detective. Let's check that out. Benji84 TV programs. Hey, Ben, thanks for giving PCBH a mention. Yeah, I loved the show when it was first shown in the late 80s and early 90s. Yeah, it actually started in 79 and ran till 86, but it didn't come to Britain, I think, until the late 80s. It actually was one of the first programs shown on overnight TV, which began in like the early 80s to mid 80s. But it's had so many reruns. It's still being shown even today. I love watching the clips and episodes on YouTube. I think the acting by Val Lehman and Maggie Kirkpatrick are some of the best you'll see on their TV on TV. Yes, B. Smith, you bitch. Yes, and then Maggie Kirkpatrick, who plays Ferguson the Freak, and Joan Ferguson. You're on a charge, Smith. You're on a charge. Their on-screen chemistry is incredible, especially the Great Fire episode. Yeah. Check out the Talking Prisoner YouTube channel. I interview someone from the show every week. Val and Maggie have been on it. Oh, cool. I will. I'm glad there's another fan on YouTube. Programs Ben W. Can I remember HBO's Raised by Wolves? Interesting, strange sci-fi. Oh, Gary Robinson mentioned that, didn't he? Yeah. Also, Preacher, Boardwalk Empire, Breaking Bad. Oh, I've seen Breaking Bad. I'll tell you who introduced that to me. Another Blonde. Another Blonde loves that. And she's actually, I went and got the DVD at her recommendation. She actually almost stood over me while I went and bought it. I haven't watched it all yet. I've watched all of Twin Peaks, but I haven't watched Breaking Bad yet. But I watched the first series with her. It's very good. Very good indeed. Better Call Saul, Black Sails, Vikings are Stranger Things. Have kept me entertained in recent years. Well, Ben, maybe my experience of TV is not widespread enough really to make a proper judgment. You know, maybe it's true. I just need to watch them. You know. John Nolan says talks here about. I've actually made a text reply to this because I don't want to go into this too detailed. But John informs me that an old nemesis of mine, or someone who thinks she's a nemesis, is back, yeah, attacking Miles Johnston, Simon Parks, etc. What I suggest you do, and I think this may have been what inspired her, was it was because the fact that Stephen Cambion started on Simon again. I've got an article. You see, I'm not going to keep repeating things. I mean, I did say I'd cover this in my UFO disclosure video, but it's not. I'm not going to. I've written in this little 5-minute. I'll just show you it here. I actually posted a link for John here. This is a video. I wrote this on the 6th of February on HPANWO Voice. There's the URL. Okay, you can go and read it. I'm not going to repeat what I've written here on HPANWO TV. It's called Simon Parks is Innocent. It's a short 5-minute read, and it says what all I need to say on this issue. And I made this before the more recent attacks. This was a response to Cambion's attack. This new attack that's come out is basically there's nothing she says that I can really add to, which requires another response. It's just a repeat, except repeating the same points I made before. So check out that. Shame, it's a shame, you guys. I mean, I get the number of people who watch my videos. You know, the number of people I get, like less than a quarter of the number of people actually read my blog, the HPANWO Voice blog, which is a shame. Where are we now? I'm just checking here. Charles says on Physical Dignity Statements Part 2, the thumbnail to this looks like Omar Jalili. I see the resemblance. I don't have like the little beard like he does, but it does. I can see the resemblance. Yes. TV programs. Louis James. I binge watched Prisoner Cell Block H. It's brilliant. I have the set on DVD. Storylines were cutting edge at the time, and each episode always finished on a cliffhanger. Very well written. Yeah, it's used to be. I don't know if you can still get it, but used to be get the whole series, all 692 episodes, in like a box set, which was like a big metal case. And I knew someone. It cost about 300 quid, and I knew someone who went out and got it. Dr. Keith says the only show about a woman's prison where no one wanted to see any lesbian action. Well, you things you do see a bit. It's not explicit. I mean, it's just like daytime drama, you know, but you do see a bit of that. Louis James says here, also on TV programs, for me, EastEnders was the best, right up to Steve Owen days, circa 2005. It was the best for a long time. I think its first decade was fantastic. It was winning all the awards, and it deserved its viewing figures and awards. You know, the storylines of Dan and Angie and things like that. Superb. It was said that Bill Treacher, who played Arthur, when he has his mental breakdown, he'd have won an Oscar if that had been a movie. But I think it went downhill long before 2005, mate. It went downhill probably sometime in the early 90s. But anyway, Louis carries on. When they brought the Z-list young actors in and slashed the budgets, that was the end, I think. Never watched it since. Yeah, it's became a kind of propaganda thing. It wasn't actually like that to begin with. It was literally simply a storyline. But it became what it morphed into, which is very, very unhappy. It's a very unhappy thing. Right, with Rin McInnes discussing Satanism, Dr. Keith. Ben has an internet girlfriend. Oh, yeah. K-I-S-S. Honestly, you people. It's literally like being back at school when I sit next to a girl in class. Dr. Keith says here, Ben, Simon Parkes has once again been exposed for grifting. Do you still support him? Dr. Keith, please go and read this. I actually posted a link to him as well. Just go and read this, would you? I'm not going to repeat myself here. It's a 5-minute read. If you can make out the text, you can pause and read it here. But it says everything I want to say about that. It's pretty obvious. I said in my fake defamation video, I made all the points really I can make on this subject. I can't really make any more without repeating myself. The Apollo Detectives. Oh, this is the first one, I think. Brilliant episode, says Stuart. Thank you, thanks, Stuart. Much appreciated. I did another one recently. And a Mascara Snake. Says on TV programs. Gone to Seed can be watched here. Oh, there's a link to a YouTube copy. Yeah, I did go to that Mascara. Thanks very much. It's quite poor quality. It's not very, very good. It's actually quite fuzzy and blurred. It's not a very good quality copy. I recommend getting the DVD, or it may be available on BritBox or somewhere else. But it's old. Like I said, it's from 1992, I think. It's from, I think I said 1992. Yeah, it's pretty old. Anyway, that's the end of the YouTube comments. I'm now going to go to BitChute. Obviously, with BitChute, you don't actually you don't get notifications for comments like you used to. As a result, I can't really do anything other than go through the videos that I've posted since I last did a comments reply video, and unfortunately, until BitChute produces comments for notification, there's no other way. Okay, so here, TV programs. No comments. Rin McInnes. No comments. Battle of Los Angeles, 80th anniversary. No comments. You bit shooters are quiet, aren't you? Or have I spoken too soon? Ukraine live stream. Oh, loads here. Yeah, I did speak too soon. Endos says UFOs are made here on Earth. This guy's lost. Next. No, they're not. Some are. Oh, some are. There is a secret space program. There's a secret aircraft technology. There's hang on. I should press pause. But no, they're not all. They're not all made here. Truth Seeker 63 says Putin is obviously the aggressor. He keeps putting his country next to US military bases. There is only one evil empire who invades countries or orchestrates regime change on an industrial scale, all to take hold of resources if it wants. And it ain't Russia, and it ain't China. The Ukraine government has been continuously shelling the Donbass region. A war is most likely to be triggered if Ukraine forces encroach across the border, forcing Putin's hand. Don't worry, though, Boris has gone to Ukraine to threaten Putin, probably with his belly fat, as the UK military threat is as credible as a box of Lego. You know, compared to Russia's, yeah. I do think that someone will try to force Putin's hand to trigger him into invading. There will either be, like I said, a massive attack by Ukrainian forces against the ethnic Russians, which Putin will then have to intervene simply to defend his citizens. He's given all these people Russian passports. Or there's going to be a false flag. That's one way. We must be on our guard against things like that. Turbo 0085 says migrants from South America invading America daily are 2 to 3 mongrels, jays from South America, not Hispanic panic like they claim. Jays celebrate their mongralism in South America every year. I don't know about the jay. I can't say jay, the word. But, you know, I've actually made a video called Jays. It's in its full word, in which I explain why I think you're wrong, Turbo 0085. Yet, believe it or not, it was banned from YouTube for hate speech. So you're going to have to watch it on BitChute or Odyssey. But I think you see, I don't think that they're the culprit. I know what's happening in the United States. I know how the Mexicans are moving across the border. It's a terrible thing. It's been done deliberately. It is, you say Hispanic, they are Hispanic Indian, yeah. But they're being used. They're just pawns in a game. Battle of, where were we? Oh, yeah. Going down. End of lockdown live stream. No comments. And finally, worldwide demonstration for freedom. Oh, there's loads here. Sax Glenn said, what you resist persists. Not this time. Monk 18. Nice work, Ben, Mark D, Lucy, and Addy J. Thanks, Monk. It's Monk 18. The people of Oxford showed the world that we are not afraid and will rise above the dark forces at play. Yes! Pics of the event I just put on the T Oxford group. Yeah, I saw those. Thanks very much. I think you're a member of the group. I think I know who you are, yeah. As Mark Devlin said, we will win this. Warriors of the worldwide are well activated, getting stronger by the day. World War III wasn't meant to be easy. But what a time to be alive, fighting the good fight. Hashtag one love. Yeah, I totally agree. It's a wonderful comment. You're getting a thumbs up. And then there's lots of things. The 99% talks about, there's loads of things here about the Canadian truckers. Yeah, loads of links here. That's all happened since. It's wonderful, isn't it? It's wonderful. Truth or Dares has a link to Science and Disease, Conspiracy Pandemics. That's from the Daily Telegraph. I don't think I need to read that. I think I know what it's going to say. And Truth or Fiction, anti-V-word disinformation campaign echoes doctor's plot rhetoric. All right, thanks for those Truth or Dares. Lawrence 12345 says, looks for all the world like you've made a difference, Ben. The last such event was a one man and his dog affair. Well done, sir. Yeah, it's much bigger. I mean, the video's on my. I've got an alt-tech video of that too, which shows how much more how many more people there were this time. And Crafty Nice, hey, how you doing? It was fantastic to turn out. Felt part of history, the right side of history. What a buzz! Regenerates you to keep fighting. We've done. Well done, everyone who turned out. Everyone in the world, stand up and be counted. The time is now. We are fighting for you, yeah. And finally, Lisa. Oh, Lisa, how you doing? How you doing, my colleague on HPANWO Radio. Bloody brilliant job, Ben. You did fab. Mark, Lucy and Addy were wonderful too. Lovely to see Liz and Mark. A great event. Well done, hun. Thanks, Lisa. And so now we go to Odyssey. I'll go to my comments in Odyssey. Now, I don't have many comments in Odyssey. I've actually made a record of them. I will go through my list, but someone actually posted a comment on an old video, so I'll go through that now. This is in reply to my video, Nelson Mandela Dies. That piece of shit killed thousands and worked for the New World Order. You idiots are simping for a guy who bombed children and was a tool for communism. You guys are insane. He wasn't a peaceful protester made up by the media. Apartheid was just fine. Black people were flooding in from sub-Saharan Africa for free shit. White people always so cave in. Just keep them separated. And then I had to actually delete this comment because this person did something which I consider Fed posting. I actually put in a comment saying, I put in a reply saying that I've actually changed my mind a bit on this subject. I do think that Nelson Mandela sort of had a kind of an epiphany while he was in jail, and he came out of prison a different guy to how he went in. But so he was a kind of calming influence in the later days when he was president. But as you can see, now a lot of them just said they were waiting for Nelson Mandela to die, and look what's happened since. There's a genocide going on in South Africa, and the world's turning a blind eye because it's white people. So I did change my mind a bit, and I explained to this person what that was all about. Okay, let's go through my. Well, they've sort of done up BitChute a bit. It looks a bit better. Let us go through my comments. This is worldwide demo. No comments. Oh no, there are some. Oh, Jam Noise 72.
How do I learn more?
Oh my god, I love this woman, Soul Sister. Oh right, that's Lucy. Yeah, she's wonderful, isn't she? Excellent bloke. I'm really proud of you. Love you, Warrior. Thank you, Soul Sister. Thank you very much. And Lowski says, "Well done, Ben." Alex R. Right. I'm sorry I didn't see your. I'm sorry I didn't see your comment earlier. Jamnosh says, best speech ever, bro. I remember your Bilderberg speech, but this is just something else. I love it. Thank you for everything you've done through the years, bro. Big it up. Freedom. Thanks, Jackie. Thank you. Thank you for you yourself have been wonderful too. Your channel's great. End of lockdown live stream. I do think of her as a sister, even though we're not related, I think of her as a sister. No comments. Ukraine live stream. No comments. Battle of Los Angeles live stream. No comments. Rin Michaelis. No comments. TV programs. No comments. Okay, so that remains now just to go to Rumble. Let's see what I've got on Rumble. I've actually found a good friend on Rumble, actually, or someone who seems quite cool. But they tend to. What's this one here? No comments. That's worldwide demo. End of lockdown. No comments. Reply to comments 53. Oh right, that took a long time to process. That's no comments because I have been uploading my comments replies to. Some of them I upload to 53. No comments. This is going to be a one-part. It's going to go back. I think I'm nearly. You might hear the alarm go off any minute because it's like a 3-hour job, but it's going to be pretty dead on 3 hours. No comments on Los Angeles. We're in Michaelis. Oh, here we are. Fireballs are ETVs. I've actually, what they do is they basically been writing to me. They're quite nice, but they're basically advertising their own videos. And I have actually subbed to the channel, and they're quite good. And they don't just, it's not just like spam. They do mention my name and things like that. And they've actually been emailing me too. So it's a real person. And I've been communicating with them. And they send me lots and lots of links, more than I can actually look at. But they are links to their own videos, and I've actually subbed to this person, so that's great. Okay, I'm just going to redo YouTube now. So let's go to. Let's find out what has been happening since I. Shut up, Clive. I've got 2 here. Alright, no comments. I'll just go back to the. I've had no one's added a comment since I've been recording, which is unusual. Normally people see I'm recording and they put in an extra comment so that's added at the end. Oh, let's have a look. No, none at all. So that's the end. Alright, guys. It's going to be a one-part. It's going to be a long one-part. I've got. I'm literally finishing with just 3 minutes to go. Okay, so I'll stop the timer now. Okay. Well, thank you all of you for all your comments on this video. Really appreciate that. I couldn't make, obviously, for obvious reasons, I couldn't make this video unless you left comments. So I appreciate every single one you made. There's going to be more videos coming soon. I don't know if you've seen the latest news about nuclear fusion. I'll probably do a little video about that and maybe a live stream next weekend. Are you up for that? Are you up for a nuclear fusion live stream? Get a bit of fusion going, guys. And then, of course, there'll be the cryonics live stream. I keep putting it off, but it'll be there at some point. But thank you all of you for watching HPANWO TV. I think live stream weekends are better because then people from the Americas can join in. Thank you for watching HPANWO TV, the 54th comments reply video. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order.